Hello guys, it's me, Yeezus, and you're now listening to another episode of Renegade Podcast. I'm talking to the one and only Jangodisc. He's makes skits, makes tier lists, he talks about pop culture, music, art, movies, TV shows, movie critics, all in between. He truly is a connoisseur of the YouTube space, and I'm very honored to interview him. And now the interview starts. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello! Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you real good, man.
How's it going, dude?
Pretty good, bro. How's your day, man?
This is the first podcast I've been invited to, so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm always looking for, new and innovative creators that are, kind of exploring and discussing their takes and opinions in positive and, sort of informative ways. And I think you're kind of the perfect guy to get on. I was trying to get to you before, funny enough, but I didn't have the time, and now we're here now, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, real good. So I recently watched your recent video about I think it's about celebrity morality and how people on the internet perceive that.
People who actually watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. Really good. It's a shame it's only 600 views or something like that, because I felt like what you were sort of discussing needs to be talked about more in depth.
Yeah,
but people get caught up in all the. Huh?
It didn't get too many views, but I mean, I'm glad you watched it and I'm glad you liked it, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, what was the thought process behind the video, and sort of was that a video that you always wanted to make, or was that something that sort of came up in the moment type of thing?
It was the thing is, I've always kind of been a separate the art from the artist person, and I think, I don't know, because I made a video before where I was ranking music albums.
Yeah.
And it was my top 100 albums, and I had 5 different Kanye albums on there because I'm a big Kanye fan.
Yeah,
his
me too.
old stuff. I've always been a fan, and it was just I don't know, and I didn't get too much heat or anything for that, but it was just, I don't know, it kind of made me want to make a whole video about it, just the whole topic of separating the art from the artist.
Yeah.
But also just going more into it, because it's not just separating the art from the artist. I feel there's just because of social media and all that, I feel a lot of people get very invested in just what every celebrity has to say about everything. Another reason I kind of want to make the video is I don't want to call anyone out, but
yeah,
I saw a video that was making a big deal about the singer of Radiohead.
Yeah. And
he was getting involved. I don't know if I don't want to get your video flagged by talking too much about certain things, but
yeah,
if you know about that whole situation,
yeah,
I was and I don't agree with what the Radiohead singer was saying at all. I disagree with his stance on it completely, but at the same time I was just thinking why does it really matter that much about what the singer of Radiohead has to say about complex topics? I don't know. It's I can understand why people would be upset about it, but it's also just it's just a singer, so there's I don't know. It's not worth making a big deal about it, in my opinion.
I feel there's this, there's something I always sort of bring up this kind of example, is that there's been this shift where, because back in the day, think about the 50s, the 60s, 70s, there was this kind of illusion that the government was all good, all powerful, all knowing. Look at most of the movies about the government back in the day. They portray the government like it's this benevolent force that is doing good things for the American people and stuff. And obviously, a lot of social media is dominated by people that live in America, right? That's just a fact, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And you're gonna see a lot of U.S. centric takes on international topics. And look, I've always been a person that looks at someone 3-dimensionally, right? I don't and one of the examples of it is have you heard of this guy? Do you watch soccer by any chance? Or sports?
A little bit. I'll watch some Champions League here and there. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I used to watch it a lot more.
Okay. Are you into sports at all, or?
Yeah. I'm a pretty big hockey guy.
Okay.
I'm a Canadian. I don't know if you know, I'm also Canadian. I know you're Canadian.
Yeah. So, for example, what's your favorite hockey team?
Vancouver Canucks.
Okay. So, let's talk about. So, I want to bring up this guy, for example, because I felt in the current NHL zeitgeist, I don't think the Sedin brothers aren't brought up enough as an all-time great duo, period. Like, we all know they're amazing, they're great. But if they had a bad take about something, right? I don't think hockey fans, maybe not now because the whole Four Nations thing, but I don't think hockey fans would be like, you know what, man? This whole time they sucked. They never were that good. Like, again, you know, right?
Yeah, I feel like hockey is not like. I mean, there's certain sports where there's like people kind of. I don't want to say worship the players.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like players in other sports are kind of put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
A lot. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just it kind of is what it is. But I feel like in hockey, I don't know. There are star players like McDavid and stuff like that, obviously, but it's not the same. Like, I feel like people are not like as attached to the players. It's more about like the team, you know.
I also think, you know, the decline of religion, I think low-key plays a part in this, because like back in the day, right, you know, back in the Middle Ages, even after that, there's this huge emphasis of the church or the mosque or whatever, right? And sure, in the Middle East, it's still the same thing, but it's a lot different than back then, right? Where, you know, whatever answer you may have, God has an answer to it. Whatever question as massive or as small, you know, God has an answer for that. And, you know, as time goes on, you know, science and stuff like that start kind of play more of a factor, and we start realizing that a lot of people start losing their sense of purpose in a way. And instead of, kind of trying to find that out in a constructive way, we start looking to people that are higher than us, literally, meaning they're more richer, more famous. They do something that we like, you know. And this sort of worshipful attitude has also kind of plays into the fact that you're going to be under a microscope now. Think about the last couple of actresses or actors that blew up in the last decade or so. All of them have been criticized heavily for things that are very minuscule, right? You know?
Yeah, no, like, I think that's a good point, too, about religion. Like, I'm not really a very religious person. Nothing against religion or anything, but I definitely think that's a good point. Like, it kind of leaves a void almost where, like, kind of like what you were saying, people, like, turn to, like, I guess celebrities or just people who are higher up in the social hierarchy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little out of my depth getting into that. I feel like... Yeah. But if you were to talk to, like, a psychologist or something about that, I feel like they're... I'm just spitballing here, dude. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to psychology, but I would guess that there's some psychological phenomenon about exactly what you're describing.
Yeah, you know, it's also kind of... And then the flip side of it is that you're going to get torn down. You're going to get torn down, no matter how high you are. I look at someone like Beyonce, and I don't know... She's been in the spotlight for almost 30 years, right? Because Destiny's Child was massive in the mid-90s. All the way up to it became like defunct. You know, Beyonce left and she became, you know, what she became. And a lot of the critiques of gangster musically have never really made any sense. Right? And then the whole like, oh, she's part of the Illuminati, and then, oh, she faked her pregnancy. It's just stuff like that. And also, we're also in an era where former artists or associates or maybe even contemporaries of her are kind of like, they're very bitter that their moment was taken away, to start lashing out, start saying lies about her to get attention. Like, there's this person named, have you heard of Jaguar Wright?
I have not.
Okay, so Jaguar Wright was an RBR, so she was on the rise. She was sort of like, musically, like, the music that she made was, I mean, nowadays sounds pretty outdated. But she was kind of like Daniel Caesar, like, in terms of just topical focus and stuff. Not as good as Daniel Caesar, but like, it's that type of lane. She was really close with the Roots. A lot of her songs were made by Scott Storch, right? Scott Storch is still big, but back then he was just unbelievably massive. And she sort of fell off the wayside, and then she started having mental health issues, as you know. And the next thing you know, she starts getting interviewed by these people at Real Life Productions. They're like this sort of like podcasts as like hip hop and politics and culture, but they have this sort of casual feel. So they like, it's kind of like you're kind of like shooting shit with your friends, kind of shooting shit in the barbershop type of feel. And all those interviews that she did for like a 2-3 year span all blew up because she was part of the industry. She probably saw some things that weren't cool at all or very shady, but the way that she embellishes the things that she saw, because her favorite thing is like, I have tapes, and it was like everybody's like, and I'm like, you have tapes? Why haven't you sent them in? Right? So it's like, again, like, you know, when people make careers of bashing people, like, you know, Skip Bayless with LeBron.
Oh, dude.
You know, Stephen A.
Don't
Smith.
Get me started on those sports commentators, man.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless and, like, those Stephen A. Smith and those, like,
yeah.
I think that, like, sorry to, like, kind of go off topic, but, like, you mentioned, it's kind of off what you're talking about, though, about, like, bashing anyone who gets high. It's, like, people like Skip Bayless and, like, Stephen A. Smith, like, I get what they're doing. Like, they're kind of rage baiting to, like, they made a big career out of that, but it's, like, it is just kind of crazy seeing these people just, like, every day. Like, I don't really watch it that much, but, like, I always see clips of it. They're just always bashing players.
Yeah.
It's like, well, like, if LeBron James, like, oh, he only got, like, 28 points this game, like, he is a failure, he's not as good as, it's like, bro, he's, like, the best basketball player in the world. It's like, I understand, like, you can criticize them, but it's just, it is over the top to the point where it's like, like all of these people in the NBA are like, they're great players, and it's just people like Skip Bayless and shit. They're just always ripping these players as if like they even know what they're talking about. It's just, it is kind of funny how like popular that kind of stuff is. I mean, I get it; it's rage bait. So like they're good at doing that.
Yeah,
but and even also, like kind of what you were talking about with Beyonce.
Yeah,
like I noticed also a similar kind of thing with Chappell Roan. I don't know if you know. You probably
I love Chappell Roan.
Yeah, dude, her music is so good, but, like, she blew up, and then, like, within, like, a few months of her blowing up, like, was involved in all of these, like, kind of dumb controversies. It's not like she didn't even, like, she did say some, like, kind of dumb things, I guess, but it's, like, people blew it way out of proportion and just, like, are always ripping on her. It's like, dude, like, relax, like, who cares? You know who's actually the worst about this kind of stuff is, like, like, movie fans and sports fans and, like, music fans are all pretty bad about this kind of thing. It's really just kind of a vocal minority. Yeah. But you know who's the worst are reality TV show fans. I don't know if you've ever gone down that, dude. Reality TV show fans are absolutely insane when it comes to just bashing like the people who are on the shows. Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy because most of that shit's not even real. Like that's the thing.
I know it is.
It's scripted. It's like WWE, you know. But then again, I saw some guy was. I cannot believe this. This was like 2-3 years ago. And this is like when this is when like John Cena and The Rock like they fought each other. It was like this big event, right? I remember seeing it everyone like Twitter and Reddit, and I don't know why. I clicked on a Reddit thread. It's this one guy goes on this fucking tangent about John Cena and says, "Oh, he killed WWE. He's a prima donna. Yada yada yada." And somebody asked, "Hey, what's your favorite wrestler?" "Oh, it's Hulk Hogan." I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah. I mean, come on.
It's like people get like. I mean, I feel like you never really meet people like this in real life. It's just I only see people like this on the internet. Like, like I'll never talk to someone in real life who even like follows any of this stuff. I'm sure people do. It's just like not one of those things you even like talk about in real life. You know. But then if you go on the internet, it's like there's just so much. Just like I don't know. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So. What's the inspiration behind the channel name and channel logo?
Okay, so I really put like no thought into it. So I made my first video because I just like started off. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna make a movie review. Yeah. So I just made my first video and I was like, okay, now I need to like think of a channel name. So Django is the name of my childhood cat, and Disc was literally just a random object because I figured like if I just called it Django, like if people search that. They would find, like, Jango Fett from Star Wars or, like, Django Unchained. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I was like, all right, I needed to add some random objects so it's, like, the only person who has that username. But I don't know. I put, like, no thought into it, honestly. It's kind of a dumb name.
Yeah, it is.
If I think about it, like, whatever.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's interesting because I always ask this question to everybody. It's like, I interview, it's like, I feel like, but that's kind of sort of that sort of adds to the charm, you know? That it's not a refined name. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, because I think I think, like, with, like, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of them just have the most random names, because it's, like, when they started their channels, like, that was at the time when they weren't really, like, taking it serious. It was just like, all right, whatever, I just need to think of a name for something.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you can't change it. You're kind of stuck with it. So it's just, like, this is part of how YouTube works, I feel like. Because, like, Mr. Beast, if you think about it, is, like, he's the biggest YouTuber, and that's, like, Mr. Beast. That's kind of a weird name. I mean, it's not that weird, but it's just, like, so random, you know?
Yeah,
so I feel like that's just part of YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. So the video that caught my attention was, funny enough, was a couple months ago. It was your most popular video, and it had like 32K likes now. It has over 2,300 comments. Like, when you made that video, like, did you see the success coming in just like that? Because I know that video sort of took some inspiration from this other guy who did like similar things, right? I forgot exactly.
So that video was like, when the time I made that video, I was like 2 weeks into starting my channel, and I had like 30 subscribers at the time.
Yeah.
I think I made that video probably in like 30 minutes, like maybe like an hour. Like,
wow.
I put no effort into that. I was just like, all right, whatever, this will be kind of fun. And it was just like, the idea of the video was actually something I had thought of like years ago.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to think of a video idea. It was more just like the concept of like, over the course of your life, you kind of go through these different phases. Like, I just kind of already had thought that, and I think I had like written that in a comment on like Twitter or something like that. And it was just like, I don't know. I was, for some reason, I guess I just like remembered that. I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to make a random skit. Because before that, the only videos I had really made were just like movie reviews. I don't know. I was just like, because I started my channel, I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to like make some movie reviews. Looks kind of fun. But then I realized that like making videos in general is really fun, and it doesn't have to just be movie reviews, you know? So I was like, I'm just going to try making this dumb, like, 2007 style YouTube skit. And then, like, for the first 2 days, it got like 50 views. And then I woke up the next morning and I checked, and it had like 30,000 views. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, and to this day, I've had no video come even close to that.
Yeah.
So I think I just got really lucky with that in terms of just like, I think it was the thumbnail that actually like, because it had a really high click-through rate, and I think that was the main reason it got so many views. But it was just like, it was kind of a beginner's luck type thing, because none of my videos now get even like close to that.
Yeah, you know, it's something that's so interesting was like, you know, is that, you know, obviously I asked this question to, again, a bunch of people I interview, and I really feel like the algorithm is really a weapon that if you know how to use it, you can wield it, and you can like just destroy everybody in the same sort of level that you're at, you know? And
I mean, I wish I understood the algorithm like that. I don't understand it at all. All I really try to do is like make a video that I think would be fun to make, and like some people would want to click on it, but I wish I understood the algorithm better. But I agree with you that it's like a lot of it just comes down to like the actual, like, do people want to watch it? Because, like, you could understand the algorithm, but at the end of the day, it's like if people don't click on the video, then, like, or even just, like, watch the whole video, you know? It's like the video's still not going to get views, but there definitely are probably ways that you can manipulate the algorithm. Yeah. Like, I know, like, those big channels, like, those really big ones, they all kind of have a similar style, I've noticed. Like, the way they edit and, like, the kind of the structure of the video. So there's definitely ways you can kind of manipulate it in terms of like getting the highest retention and all that stuff, but I don't really know. Like, I definitely don't think any of the videos I make are even like, they're probably not even polished enough to like, even if I did understand the algorithm, that they could blow up like that. But I definitely look at some of these channels and I'm like, all right, you know what you're doing. You know?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's like, I always say like, you know, the thing is that it's just a saying that it usually takes someone 10,000 hours to, like, you know, blow up for the whole sort of world to know.
Or to get really good at it.
Not 10,000, but 10,000 hours, 10,000 days, something like that, right? And the one video that sort of struck me a certain way, funny enough, was when your video about, you did, like, a tier list, right, about the best, like, film critics or YouTube critics. And I really liked how you presented it in a way. And you know what? I feel like it not being super polished actually kind of adds to the charm. Because if it was like professionally made, I would just not. I'm not trying to be like, but I would have just not looked at the video. Because it would have been like Watch Mojo, and I'm like, I don't like those channels anymore.
Oh yeah,
because they're so predictable. They're so engagement farming heavy that they'll be saying stuff that it's not true, right? Like someone like they did this video about this ridiculous video that they did about like top 10. Like I don't know, like top 10 people who gone woke or some shit like that, and I'm like, wait a minute, did somebody hack their account? Like, what on earth are you talking about? Like,
I feel like they're just like kind of like a content farm, but like what I've noticed lately is there's like a bunch of channels that are popping up that are like you can tell that it's just ChatGPT, like they just got ChatGPT to write a script and like because I forget what their channels are called, but there's like their videos will be like every like NBA team explained in like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you like click on the video and it's just so obvious that it's just AI.
Yeah.
And I feel like YouTube is just going to keep getting flooded with stuff like that, which I mean, I don't know. It's kind of annoying, but I don't know if there's any. I think Pandora's box has been opened at this point when it comes to that. But yeah, like what you were saying about the lack of polish, like I definitely kind of agree. I mean, I am trying to like improve slowly at like different aspects, but I do think like sometimes you just like make a random video and it's not the best, most well-made video, but for some reason it just people kind of like that about it. Yeah. Like the video you mentioned, the life cycle of a cinephile, which is like by far my most popular video. Like I can't even watch that video because it's like so there's so many poorly made aspects of it. Like I kept looking at the camera when I was filming it because this was one of the first videos I made, and I put like barely any effort into it because I was like, no one's gonna watch this. I'm just gonna do it for fun. Yeah. But I feel like me doing it like kind of poorly made. Yeah. I feel like that might have actually helped it for some reason. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that the one thing I learned is that it's funny. Like I'm assuming you're on Reddit a lot. I'm assuming.
I used to go on Reddit a fair bit. I try not to use it anymore, but like sometimes if I'm at work, like I just get bored and I'll scroll through Reddit. All right. But I try to stay off Reddit because like I just find like Reddit to be annoying. Yeah. I definitely try to avoid Twitter too. Twitter is just a cesspool.
It is. It really is a cesspool. Here's the thing, right? Like I've had like three separate main accounts, right? My first account was it's funny because my brother got me into Reddit. He's like, "Oh, you heard about Reddit?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I thought he was talking about some fucking alien or some shit. But like, I searched it up and it's like, "Oh wow!" And the way it was laid out, and I liked, sure it was. Again, the comments were sort of like, the comments are kind of like, and then some of the posts they're fishing for rage bait back then. I couldn't put a word to it. Like now, but what I understood was that, because I vividly remember, right? There's one post I did, started the pandemic, right? And it's about books. I don't know why, but I did this post about like what are things, what are some unpopular opinions about certain books, right? And I got like 1,000 comments and 600 likes. It shook me to I'm like, what the hell? I go to sleep, and the next thing you know, it has a bunch of, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was lucky I would get 2 comments on a post. Now I'm getting 1,000, right? And I started realizing, and once more and more, because I would actually talk about it with some Redditors, like, I'll DM them, they say, hey, like, what can I do to, like, improve my profile? And they said, post when there is the most traffic, right? So I figured out there's a range. So traffic means like if it's like 10 a.m. to like 1 p.m. and it's 6 p.m. to like 11 p.m. That's when there's the most traffic. That's when things are actually happening, right? A lot of sports games are either happening in the evening or in the like afternoon, morning, right? And I really figured that out. I really honed that in. So on my next account, which has over 1 million, karma, and it's so funny because I would like get weekly accusations of me being a bot, and maybe I was kind of being like a bot the way I was just posting something every single day. But the thing I was like, look, these are things that I like. These are things that I'm interested. These are opinions that I've been thinking about. So I'm just showing them out to the world, right? Whether y'all like it or not, that's not the thing. The thing is out there for you guys to see, right? And I took that sort of thinking to my podcast, where, look, I don't care about the views like that. I don't care about if I get money from it. I want to sort of present something that is raw and unfiltered, that has no editing or little editing, right? And just, give it to the people, feed it to the people, that type of thing.
Well, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but like I was curious, like, can you actually make money at all off Reddit? I know you just said you don't like do it for the money, but I was just curious if you can, because like that is a lot of traffic that you're getting. Yeah,
it's funny because like it's so hilarious. I don't know why I searched up my Reddit account online, Google, and there was a couple Reddit posts of talking about my content, and they were like baffled, like, how's this guy doing this? And I'm like, because I'm that guy. Like, it's simple as that. But seriously, like, there's a Screen Rant post I saw, article I saw, right? And it wasn't even, it's so funny because that post did go a little viral, got like 1,000 upvotes and 400 comments about like what DC character should Haley Steinfeld play, something random like that. And they actually took the time to actually like write a detailed article, which really shocked me. And I remember telling my parents about it. They didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. I showed it to them and they were like, "What?" So it was like, and obviously that's been brought up, like, me selling my account. And yeah, I think you can make money on Reddit but the way to make it, it's too convoluted.
Right, right.
You have to sell your account to some third party buyer, or you have to, for example, let somebody else take over your account, and then it's just too messy. It's like, no, just make it simple, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know, like, doing it for money is probably the wrong way, but I was just thinking, though, it's just like, with how many people are essentially creating content for Reddit, like, you think that they should, like, share some of the profits.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, have, like, a partner program or something, but I don't know.
Yeah. You mentioned that you had a job. I don't know if you're gonna, like, what type of job you work?
I'm an engineer.
Wow. Okay. Engineer.
Electrical engineer, but...
Do you get paid for it? Do you get paid well for it? I know the job market in Canada isn't that great, but...
Wait, sorry, say that again?
I know that the job market here, it's not doing too well, but... Do you get paid for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like I just do YouTube kind of as like a side kind of thing. Okay. I don't really make very much money off $150 a month. Like a little more sometimes, but...
Interesting.
Yeah, no.
Interesting. That's
definitely
interesting.
Don't do YouTube.
Was that something that you always wanted to do?
Not really, to be honest. So actually, I kind of talk about this in this video I'm currently editing right now that I'm almost done.
Yeah.
So it's like, in my next video, it's like nothing to do with movies or anything.
Yeah.
So like, I doubt it'll get very many views, but I kind of touch on like that kind of stuff a little bit. So I don't want to like spoil the video too much. But basically, I started off with the political science, and then I realized very quickly that, like, nothing against political science, like, that's a fine degree for a lot of people, but I realized, like, I should probably switch into something else. And so I switched it to electrical engineering just because, like, I mean, I've always been, like, pretty good at math and stuff like that, but I never was like, oh, I really want to be an engineer. But, I mean, I do like it a lot. So. But I'll be honest, like, part of it is just because it's like, it's a good job,
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. So, has there been, like, because obviously, there's stories about every job where, there's shady characters, there's, bosses that are terrible, there's co-workers, all that stuff. Have you ever encountered any of that?
Definitely. So, well, like, my current job is good. It's just, I mean, I don't want to, like, publicly talk about, like, certain people, so I won't say any names. Yeah. I've definitely had a lot of, like, I've never really had a boss that was, like, truly, like, just a horrible boss, but I've had some that were just kind of, like, either a little bit incompetent or just, like, kind of assholes, but not really too bad. I don't know, just pretty standard stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting, for sure.
I kind of got to be careful about, like, what I say on the internet publicly, too, because I am kind of, like, slightly paranoid about privacy-related stuff. Yeah. Just in terms of, like, that's why I don't use my real name as my channel and all that.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, putting my face on camera was already kind of like, if I could restart YouTube, I would have just like gone a faceless channel. But at this point, it's like it's too late now. But I don't know.
I mean, cat's out of the bag on that. But like, do you live in like? You mentioned that you're a fan of the Vancouver Canucks. But do you live in Vancouver? Do you live in any of those?
Sorry, your audio like cut out or something.
No.
Or it might be my internet.
No.
Oh, okay, I can hear you now.
So, like, what province do you live in? You don't have to specify the city, but, like...
Okay, I'll say BC.
Oh, BC, okay. Okay,
I've moved around, so I've lived in, like, different... So, like, I'm originally from Canada, but I also, like, lived in the U.S. for a while. I've kind of gone back and forth between the U.S. and Canada.
All right. That's interesting. So, my question would be, like, what's the difference, right? Because I've been to the U.S. a bit, and you can instantly tell that the way that people talk, the way that people sort of think about certain things, is vastly different down there. Now the internet is kind of sort of homogenized everything with that, but like, what do you think is the difference?
Well, I also feel like too is that like, for example, like BC is probably more similar to like Washington and Oregon than it is to other provinces in Canada.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to central Canada versus BC, it's almost like a different country.
Yeah.
But yeah, there definitely are differences between the US and Canada. I would say like one of the biggest, well, I don't want to like rip on the US too much, but I feel like I think Canada, the cities are just generally a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Not like the US is got a lot of great places too, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Canada is more like, I don't know. It just feels like it has its shit together a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Canada does have its own issues too, so I'm not saying Canada's perfect or anything like that, but I don't know. Overall, though, I'd say culturally it's almost kind of the same. Like it depends on which part of the country you're in either case. Because I feel like central Canada is very similar to the Midwest in the U.S., whereas like Toronto is probably more similar to like East Coast in the U.S., and then BC is basically very similar as like Seattle or Portland and stuff. You know,
that's interesting. That is interesting for sure. So again, like, how does your upbringing sort of affect the content that you make, or doesn't even play a part in that at all?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I'm sure subconsciously it definitely probably plays some factor in it, but I don't really know. I would have to do some introspection to really answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure there definitely, I mean, I guess in terms of like my upbringing, I don't really know for sure. I guess I'm just trying to think of like, I don't really know how to answer that. I have to think about that.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, it's fine. So, again, one question I always sometimes ask is that, you know, with the sort of, you know, the sort of concepts and stuff like that, have you ever dealt with like bullying or somebody just harassing you in school, or that never happened to you personally?
Not really. I mean, like, I guess, there's been like a few cases of like normal, like kids being asshole kind of thing, but it was just like, nothing really crazy. I don't know. I feel like I had a pretty normal childhood, I guess.
Okay. Have you seen anything like, you know, paranormal? Because people forget, like, Canada has a lot of like very interesting, like, cryptic and paranormal stories, like, you know, that's never to get brought up. Have you ever encountered anything like that?
I have not, although, I mean, I personally, I'll just be honest, I don't really believe in a lot of I'm like not super into that kind of thing. It's not like nothing against people who believe that. I've personally never seen any paranormal or anything like that, but I mean, I know a lot of people who say they have, and I know those people are not liars, so I don't know, maybe there's something to that. I definitely have seen UFOs, though. I don't know if they were aliens or some sort of government test or just a drone or something like that, but definitely have seen UFOs.
All right, so this I'll tell you this story. It's not a UFO. It's a very weird experience that I had. So I was at, I think it was around like 2018, 2017, something like that. So this was like, I was at my grandmother's place. She lives in Brampton, lives in apartments near Bramley Mall, and it's funny enough, she just moved there. It was a couple weeks after. It was raining. It stopped raining, but for some reason, I was walking towards the car with my mom and me. It was me, my brother, and my mom, and we're gonna go back home. And I saw something that, like, I'm like, is this real? Like, everything just, like, I don't know what, but all for like a split like 5-10 seconds, I couldn't hear anything. Right? And I saw this drone-like thing racing towards me. Right? And like it was the speed of light. And next thing you know, I blinked my eyes and it's not there. So I don't. Maybe it was some interdimensional shit, or maybe just my mind just playing tricks. Cause I was tired that day. So, you know, maybe something.
I've seen like similar, not like exactly like that, but like one time I saw UFOs, like 3 like bright lights in the sky.
Yeah.
And then like you were saying, this almost the speed of light. Like the way it moved was just like, it wasn't a plane or anything. Like obviously, because it was like, I have no idea what it was though. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but my thing with that, though, is when it comes to aliens, is like, I mean, I 100% think that there are aliens somewhere out there in the universe, but the actual odds of them traveling all the way to Earth, not only like just all the way across whatever galaxy, if they're in the Milky Way, if they're from like, let's say, Andromeda Galaxy, which would be the next galaxy over, it would literally take about 40,000 years going like the fastest man-made spacecraft, which is, I think it's called Voyager 1. Like if it was to go that speed, it would take, actually no, I was wrong, 40,000 years just to get to the next solar system. To get to the next galaxy, it's like it's almost unattainable unless you have like a wormhole or something. So I think the odds of aliens actually having the technology to travel all the way to Earth is very low, and they would have to do it during our lifetime, which is like, it might seem like a lot, but all of human history is such a tiny, insignificant amount of time. So, like, what if there was aliens that maybe they did fly by Earth at some point, but it most likely would have been long before human civilization or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing that what makes these sort of conspiracies just funny to me is, like, do you really think, right, if these aliens were as powerful as these people think they are, they have these sort of interdimensional ships and these universe-destroying weapons, you think they would have already done it by now? Like, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah. And another one related to that, too, is, like, there's a lot of these theories about how aliens made the pyramids, which is like, okay, you're telling me that these aliens have the technology to travel between galaxies, potentially. They probably would be so advanced we can't even comprehend it. They went all the way to the Earth just to make some pyramids in the desert and then leave. Like, I don't, like, that doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's just like, but that's the thing about, that sort of brings us to the point that we started this conversation, is that, you know, people oftentimes ask questions that aren't even good questions to ask. You know, logistically speaking, right? But they have to fill it with something, whether it's conspiracy, whether it's some type of thing they watched or book they read that sort of, you know, confirms their beliefs, you know, and it's kind of like develops like a vicious cycle of, not even a cycle, it's a feedback loop of you're reading lies, you're believing lies, and you're living a life that is a lie in a way. Right? That's why, like, I feel bad for these, you know, UFO people, or not these sort of ancient aliens, and, you know, the people, the guys behind Montauk, is that there is trauma there. It's just they're not addressing it in the way that is constructive. You know, we know MK Ultra exists. We know that it's been confirmed 100 times over, but it doesn't mean Stranger Things is a documentary. It doesn't mean 11's real. It doesn't mean that the whatever monsters there are gonna pop out of your closet and eat you alive. Like, it's just like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Dude, I feel like some people just always have to be like different, or they have to be contrarian about everything. Which is like, I can understand that a bit, because I am kind of contrarian about a lot of things. But there is a certain point where it's just unreasonable, where it's like, you're just looking for anything to, like, oh, I don't trust anything, but like, okay, but you trust like some stupid YouTube video or something. Talking about like, whatever, like the aliens building the pyramids or something, but it's like, or even like dumber conspiracies that I don't want to get your channel flagged. Like, you know, people just believe some stupid shit, and it's like, I feel like a lot of it has to come down to just like, you just want to be different, you know? like flat earthers. Like, why do you like? It's just stupid. Like
it is, and it's sometimes some things just can't be explained. It's like dreams. Sir, some dreams might be deja vu moments that help you in that moment, but sometimes dreams just be random as hell. Sometimes dreams just have no meaning to it. I'll never forget. I had a dream where, gosh, have you heard of Arca?
Arca, the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So her music, her earlier music was very alien, very apocalyptic type of music. It's sort of kind of hip hop and industrial and glitch and stuff like that. I love that. But there was a dream I had where it was like, those sort of petri dish of like the microbes.
Yeah.
It was like full of like spiders and it was like covering like a body, and then the music was in the background, and it felt for a split second it felt real for some reason. Granted, this was a long time ago, but it felt real. And not one time after, I'm like, is this a sign that the apocalypse is gonna happen? Like, I don't think like that. It's sometimes it is what it is, and sometimes some people just can't handle that for whatever reason.
Yeah, or like this is like what was that guy's name? The guy who's in the first Iron Man movie.
Terrence Howard.
Like that guy. Like 1 + 1 = 0. It's like teriology. It's like
it's just like come on.
It is kind of funny, but it's just also like it is kind of sad in certain situations though, because like, again, not trying to get your channel flagged, but you see like people get very conspiratorial about things that actually have a direct impact on shit.
Yeah,
where it's like, all right,
like joke's over, that type of thing. But
I definitely think I'm sure that type of shit has always been a thing. Like, it goes back to like even like, well, like, way before this, but even like the Salem witch trials and stuff like that. But I don't know. Social media definitely makes that whole anything like that. It just makes it worse. Yeah, because it's just like you're giving a megaphone to like the bottom of the barrel type people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So, it's what's your favorite movie director?
Favorite director?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty basic answer. I'd probably have to go with Stanley Kubrick, to be honest. I don't know if I have a lot of directors because I love Stanley Kubrick's movies, but a lot of his movies are like I can only watch them in a certain mood. Like when it comes to there's other directors like Scorsese or Tarantino or just like some other ones where it's like their movies are so entertaining that they're always kind of a go-to staple I can just rewatch or something. Yeah. But if we're talking about like all-time favorite director, probably Kubrick. Yeah. But I like a lot of his movies like Eyes Wide Shut or like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah. Like you can't just watch that on any night, you have to be in the right mood for that. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, I've seen Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. But that's another movie that I think people don't fundamentally understand, right? People think it's some type of documentary. I hate when people say that. And they do it to the movies that don't even make any sense. Like, I heard someone say some wild... I heard someone say, Transformers was a documentary about government cover-ups. I'm like, what?
Transformers?
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just the stupidest things in the world. Like, I heard someone else say, like, I heard someone else say, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I heard someone else say that Zack Snyder, right? He said something like the movie industry hates him because he loves Jesus. I'm like, what? What are we basing that on?
Yeah, no, people just make stuff. I mean, okay, Zack Snyder,
Yeah.
I've noticed it was on one of my videos. I think it was probably one of my like most popular ones where I had more comments and stuff. And I noticed there was people had like a comment chain that went on for like 20 to like 40 comments just arguing about Zack Snyder. And I was like, people get crazy about that guy for some reason. I don't know why he's so controversial, but
yeah, here's like take it from a person that, again, I like Snyder's work in terms of just what he's trying to do. But what he was trying to do with the DCEU, I'm sorry, like that was never going to work, right? Like, here's the thing. I love Man of Steel. It's one of my favorite superhero movies ever. But I knew that movie had flaws. I knew that, man, that Jonathan Kent death scene, I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? The end scene, again, what are we doing here? Certain lines or line deliveries, I'm like, it's made worse when you hear what Snyder was trying to do, and I'm like, look, man, I love what you're trying to, sort of visually you're trying to do, but man, you're not cut out for this, bro. He was trying to make this Superman sort of character arc his whole universe. And I'm like, if you're gonna do a simple character arc over 5 movies instead of just doing it in just one, then again, like, it was never gonna work out. And next thing you know,
they were trying to get in on that. They saw Marvel making absolute bank, and they're like, all right, we need to have our own version of that, and it just didn't really work out.
That's why, it's so funny because that's why a lot of the negative press against it, and granted, a lot of it, I want to say this is minority talking, but again, the minority against the new Superman movie is so funny to watch because they're acting like Zack Snyder's Superman saved the character. I'm like, what? Like, huh? Like,
it's been so long since I saw Man. I literally, the last time I saw it, it was actually when it was in theaters when it first came out. That's the only time I saw it, so I don't really remember much about it. But from what I've seen of the DCU movies, they were just bad. I don't know. I haven't seen wasn't there this big thing about the Zack Snyder Justice League?
Yeah, Snyder cut. Here's the thing.
Cut. I haven't seen his director's cut, but the original, the theatrical cut of that movie was so bad. I couldn't even sit through it.
It was bad, but it was weird because that was the movie that got, it's funny enough, because I just started getting into, comic books and stuff. I was always loved superheroes, always watched them, but that really got me into comic books, weirdly enough, of all the movies, too, but it's funny, if I wanted to watch that movie in theaters for some reason, younger me just, they didn't have the greatest quality control, but, I mean.
All right. This is kind of random. Speaking of superhero movies, have you ever seen the Tim Burton Batman movies?
Yes, I have, yes.
Dude, okay. The one with Catwoman and Penguin, Batman Returns, low-key one of my favorite superhero movies. That is such a bizarre movie.
It is bizarre.
It doesn't even feel like it's supposed to be a blockbuster, or anything. It just feels like this weird, I mean, it kind of is, but it's the most bizarre movie. And it's just
it really is.
I kind of wish there was more superhero movies that were because I have nothing, I like superhero movies, but I do kind of wish that there was more superhero movies like that, where it's just we're going to go full, I know a lot of Batman fans hate that movie because apparently, it didn't do justice to the source material, but I've never really read comic books, so just from a movie perspective, I thought that thing was crazy. I would love to have more superhero movies that were, just weird like that,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the one thing I really like about James Gunn is that he wants to embrace the wacky side of comics.
Yeah, dude, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are easily my favorite of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I know it's most people probably agree, or not most people, but a lot of people agree with that. They're so good though, especially the first one and the third one.
Yeah. Yeah, my hot take is that the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, low-key, is, the greatest achievement the MCU has ever had. Just think about it, right? You had a director that was not even on anyone's radar. You had a bunch of guys, a bunch of characters no one knew. I didn't even know what a Star-Lord even was. But when I watched that movie for the first time, I'm telling you this right now, I was blown away in the best way possible. A similar feeling was when I watched Top Gun Maverick, when it came out, and I was just he did it again, bro. Tom Cruise did it again.
Dude, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you were saying, is because before that, the Marvel movies, there were some good ones in there, but I feel Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of almost the blueprint for the rest of every MCU movie after that.
Yeah. I would also argue that I think a lot of people have I think a lot of people, for some reason, want the MCU to die. And I understand it. I understand, you know, people don't like things that run on and on and on and on. But on the other hand, I'm like, can you imagine if the Beatles were still releasing music, all those members still alive, they're still dropping album after album, hit after hit. Do you want them to stop just because some arbitrary reason? You want them to keep going till they can't go anymore. You know, that type of thing.
I definitely think there's a lot of people who, like, are just kind of, like, rooting for the... They don't really care that much about the movies themselves. They're just kind of rooting for the failure.
Yeah.
Of, like... Because it's such a big franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there is, like, one thing I do kind of agree with, though, is, like, the way that... Like, kind of what... Like, I don't really agree with what Martin Scorsese was saying, how they're not cinema. I don't agree with that. But
yeah.
His point about, like, how the movie theaters are kind of... Like, a lot of other movies are kind of being pushed out of theaters and, like, because of the popularity of the MCU. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like people, that's what they want to watch. So, I mean, you can't really, it is what it is, you know? People want to go see, like, the MCU movies. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but
also, I don't interrupt you, but also I do think there is a double standard to that in the sense of just, like, you know, you could be the change you want to see. No one's forcing you to watch the MCU. No one's forcing you to watch the Sonic movies or the Jurassic World movies or the Godzilla movies or anything like that. Those movies are always going to catch attention because those fan bases aren't going to go crazy for just a silhouette of a poster about that thing. Let alone if the movie was good. Like, that's why, like, when people were so shocked when Barbie did so well, I'm like, I'm not shocked at all. Right? People saw themselves in those characters. And the way the story, the way the structure, the acting, the soundtrack, and everything like that, it was a perfect marriage. To me, fundamentally, there's an argument, Barbie's like a 10 out of 10 in terms of just fundamentals. Now, if you, but you want to sort of talk about, you know, there's certain flaws, and I understand that, but, like, yeah.
I like Barbie. I mean, it does have its issues. I really like Barbie. But what you were saying about how, like, you be the change you want to see, it's like, I definitely see a lot of people who, like, they'll complain about, like, how Hollywood is, like, there's no original movies anymore. But it's like, there is a ton of original movies. It's just, you don't go watch them. So, you know what I mean? But, like, I do think that there is an issue, though, in terms of, like, the mid-budget movies. Like, back in the 2000s, like, that was kind of the last time that we had movies that were sort of in that mid-budget range and they were still financially viable. But now the studios don't take those risks anymore. It's like the only financially viable movies now, it seems like, are either the really big tentpole blockbuster movies or kind of smaller budget indie movies or just smaller budget movies in general. There's just not a lot of mid-budget movies. So that does kind of suck, but at the same time, it's just, I feel like that's kind of the result of all this other stuff that people have to do instead of going to a movie theater, you know? Yeah.
That's the thing is that, you know, the reason why I mentioned the MCU is that the amount of times, the amount of videos I keep seeing, this is the moment the MCU is going to die, MCU is going to disappear in like 5 to 10 years, and it's always made by the same people, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking. There's this YouTuber. Have you heard of Jester Bell?
No, I don't know who that is.
All right, so Jester Bell was so she's a comic book YouTuber, and she's in the same vein as like Critical Drinker, Neurotic, but there's like, again, you know, she's a woman that's talking, so there's a different angle to it, and it seems like she knows more comics than those guys, you know. So that's not saying much, but. Just again, the biggest issue I have with channels like that, and specifically hers, is it's so cynical. Every video is negative, and I mean, there's this one video where she was crashing out over Pedro Pascal holding Vanessa Kirby's hand, and I'm like, and she was sort of trying to say that he was being creepy or abusive. I'm like, what? Like, come on, man, like. Are you that desperate for content? Like,
it's kind of crazy, like, how that is kind of all the most popular movie-related channels on YouTube they're exactly just that. They're like those kind of anti-woke channels. But like, I think the reason why they're so popular is because it's like they're not even really movie channels. I think they're political commentators disguised as movie channels.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of just appealing to a more like political audience.
Yeah.
Rather than like just movie fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's the one thing I always say is that it's easier to hate than to appreciate, and I always live by that. You know, I always say, like, I always try to appreciate things in the moment, and I always try to
Especially
give
if you're
it.
trying to get views on YouTube. It's way easier to just rage bait.
Yeah, and the one thing though I find interesting is that there are certain people. You know, there's very few, but there's certain people, you know, the internet's very, very protected over. You know, on Reddit, like, Ana Diarmas might as well be, like, you know, she might as well be, like, God, like, over there, you know? Like, they love her over there. And, granted, I'm not a big fan of her acting or anything like that. I think some recent performances were just, no disrespect, there's a repulsive.
Sorry, what actor are you talking about?
Actress, Ana Diarmas, she was, like, Knives Out.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I don't know if you like her or anything like that, but I'm just, again, I wasn't a fan, right? You know, and it's so funny when I stated I wasn't a fan, and these are the movies why I'm not. Again, a lot of people crashed the fuck out. Like, a lot of people could not handle that. And while they're the same people, I kid you not, there's this one comment I saw where this person made this whole ass essay about how Ana Diarmas is so great. I'm like, okay. I made a post about I said, this is on r/movie critic, right? This is like the more, like, this is probably like the maybe the most like anti-woke movie review channel besides, you know, conservative subreddits and stuff like that. I said, why do people here hate Millie Bobby Brown so much? And to me, that's a topic I think you should make a video about. The internet's character assassination of her is so downright disgusting and so weird and so bizarre.
Yeah, people. I don't know about the Millie Bobby Brown one, but there's always like Brie Larson and
Belle Ramsey. Ramsey's there.
Like, there's these certain, like, where it's like they didn't really do anything other than like maybe they were like they gave one interview and people didn't like what they said in an interview, and all of a sudden it's like this huge thing to just like hate on them. It's like I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
It is crazy. I got kind of off track, but I kid you not, that same person said a bunch of things. I'm not going to say them, right? But he said a bunch of things that were straight up lies, right? And I thought, I don't want to get into an argument, you know? And I commented, and I'm like, okay, what examples? And he didn't respond. He deleted his account. I'm like, what? Like, come on, man. Are you that, like, insecure that you can't handle somebody questioning your own questionable stance on something that you don't even understand yourself? It's crazy.
I feel like a lot of these people are just like either like high school kids or something, or they're like, I don't know, because I never meet people like this in real life.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, where do these people like? If you go on the internet, there's so many people like that. It's just like it's kind of wild. I'll say like the internet does bleed into real life, because I actually have talked to people in real life. Not like they're not getting specific about like Millie Bobby Brown or things like that, but like they'll. Like, I have definitely talked to people who, like, they'll blatantly say, like, oh, the movie's woke, it sucks. And it's like, I don't know. It does bleed into real life a little bit, but I don't know.
It does, for sure.
It is just kind of funny, like, if you just talk to people in real life about a lot of, like, movies or anything, it's always so chill, but then when you go on the internet, it's like, whoa. Like, apparently, like, there's this huge controversy I never heard of. Like, I don't know.
It really is like that. So, what was the movie that really got you into movies? What was the album that really got you into music? And what was the TV show that really got you just TV in general?
Okay, so for movies, definitely would be probably Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. I know that's like very basic, but I vividly remember watching them when I was like 5 years old. Yeah. And I just loved them. So I definitely have to give credit to those, like especially Lord of the Rings, I would say. Yeah. For albums, well, the first CD that I ever got was, like, I got it as a gift when I was a kid, was Led Zeppelin 3. Yeah. So, like, I really love that album. I would have to say that kind of got me into it. But, like, I don't know. I've gone through different phases with music where it's, like I'll like, when I was a kid, I was really into, like, a lot of rock music and a lot of, like, hip-hop and some even, like, metal and stuff when I was a kid. Then I've gone through like different phases where like, you know how sometimes you just discover a new album that was like in a completely different genre, and then you suddenly just go down a huge rabbit hole down that genre. It's like there was a while where I was like, all I would listen to was hip hop for a while, and I still listen to hip hop a lot. But like I would say the album that really got me into hip hop was, I mean, very basic, but Enter the 36 Chambers.
Yeah,
by the Wu-Tang Clan. Love the album. Yeah. And then as far as TV shows, so I actually don't really watch a lot of TV shows just because, like, I like playing video games a lot. I like watching movies. So it's like between that, I don't really have time to watch a ton of TV shows. But I was definitely super into Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. As well as, like, just Game of Thrones. Yeah. Like, I was one of the Game of Thrones fanboys for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. But that's actually, I want to sort of talk about Game of Thrones a little bit. Because I vividly remember, it's 2017, right? I was in Washington, okay? And I go on Instagram, I see a post about Game of Thrones. And that's what I knew, like, this show is on another level of popularity I have never seen before. And then 2 years later, that season 8 it happened, and it just destroyed whatever cultural significance that show had, which is sad, right?
Dude, you know what's kind of funny too is like, so I know a lot of people who had never really watched Game of Thrones, but then around like season 7 or season 8, it started getting really, really popular. So I know like a lot of people who just only started watching the show around that time, and they're like, a lot of people I talked to is like, I don't get the hype. I was like, trust me, watch the older seasons, like you will get it. But it's like, if you just started, like a lot of people I know started watching it around season 7 and 8, and they're just like, what is this show? Yeah. And I vividly remember too, during season 7, so many people are in denial. I was still in denial too, honestly. Where it's like, no, like it's still good. It's like, it's not quite as good as it used to be, but like they're gonna nail the ending, dude. And like season 8 drops, and I was just like, honestly, it was like, at the time, I was just, like, kind of shook about it because I was super into Game of Thrones for years, and it was just kind of like, really? Like, you're just going to ruin it? But, like, looking back on it now, it's almost, like, kind of funny because it was, like, how much of a disaster it turned out. Yeah. Like, you couldn't have predicted, like, you couldn't even try to ruin a show more than they did with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny because it's kind of juxtaposed into what I think maybe the most anticipated final season of a show since Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. Dude, are you into Stranger Things?
Sorry, what?
Are you into Stranger Things, the show?
I've only seen the first season, so I don't like. I like the first season. I just never really watch more of it. I'm just not really like a huge TV show person. I really haven't seen very many. I've seen like a lot of the very famous, like The Office and like Always Sunny and stuff. But
so. My take is that if Stranger Things lands the ending, if it's a great season or if it's the best season of the show, which is possible, it has happened before, you know? A lot of people say Breaking Bad, last season Breaking Bad is the best season of television ever, and I can't really disagree with that. You know, on the flip side, people were kind of divided on Sopranos, but now more people appreciate it. The Wire, it goes on and on. My take would be, if the Stranger Things land the ending, it will be the greatest show since Breaking Bad ended.
I mean, I gotta catch up on Stranger Things. I'll wait until if the season finale comes out and it's as good as you're hoping it is, then I will get on the Stranger Things hype train. Yeah. But I don't know. I need to catch up on the Sopranos and The Wire, because there's a lot of great shows I know I would like.
It leads into my point about Millie, and the reason why I mention her almost every episode is that she's probably the example of how people can switch up on someone for something that they never did. So right? Because you look at her
around her,
huh?
What was the controversy around her?
It was the dumbest thing in the world. So there's this meme or this fake story that came out that she said some homophobic things to a fan or something, and people it then spiraled after that, and she had to leave Twitter because people just can't stand her. You're a homophobe, yada yada yada, and you know she'd say nothing. This story's made up, and then next thing you know, right, you know, she starts standing up for herself. She starts, you know, advocating for certain causes. She was like UNICEF, talking about cyberbullying. Some people got upset by that for some weird reason. And the next thing you know, it's these body language experts. I hate those people so much because they're so full of BS.
I've seen videos like that where it's like, watch these 6 things that Robert Downey Jr. does in an interview, and then emulate. It's just
like, what? Like it you know what, bro? It gives me the sort of the American Psycho vibes of just like,
dude, yeah, oh, dude, yes, that stuff on like that movie predicted so much of like how social media is now.
It's really shocking.
I love American Psycho, dude. I love that movie.
Like, it's very shocking, bro, because. Look! It's so funny that these incels worship that movie so much. You know, it's directed by a feminist woman, Canadian director. That is the funniest comedy you cannot even write. When you bring that up, they're like, I don't know what you talk about.
It is the same thing as Fight Club too. It's like, I mean, I don't really know how much of a thing that is anymore, but apparently back then, like, there was a lot of people who kind of like worships, like not worship, but they like started their own Fight Club.
Yeah,
and, like, they thought it was so cool, but it's like. You realize that movie is, like, the whole point of it was to critique that. And it's kind of funny, too, is, like, Andrew Tate and people like that. It's, like, that is, like, Tyler Durden kind of predicted that, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing, right, is that, you know, because you look at her career, not back on Millie, her career on the outset. What she's done since she started is remarkable. But we don't talk about her like that. It's always this, she was a prodigy, and then now she's overrated. Oh, she wasn't that good in the first place. Oh, she said this, she said that. It's so baffling.
Like, I'll be honest, the only thing I've seen her in was, like, this random Netflix movie called, like, Damsel, I think.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've seen her in, so I don't know if that's probably not the best indication of her, like, talents, but, like...
You know, here's the thing. But the
she's
thing...
kind of, like... Oh, sorry, what?
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but the funny thing about that is... Here's the funny thing. I watched that movie when it came out. I don't know why. I liked it. I don't know why. It felt very, like...
It was watchable. It was, like...
It kind of threw me back to, like, the wild 90s fantasy movies were just, like... They just threw caution to the wind. That's why I love F1 so much. Because, again, like... F1 reminds me so much of, like...
I need to see that.
That's a great movie, though. Like, sure, the script's not that good, and... some performances are kind of but, like... It's just
what you were saying though about Damsel, like how you enjoy the movies, like that's an exact example of like if you go on the internet, like that movie was ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
But it's just like the type of movie where like, I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was very good personally, but it's like it was like it wasn't boring or anything. Like it was like worth watching. I mean, I definitely wouldn't call it a good movie in my opinion, but like it's like that's just the example though of the type of movie where it's like if you just don't go on the internet and just watch the movie. Like, you would probably enjoy it more. Because, like, I know a lot of people who just don't pay attention to any of the YouTube movie critics or, like, stuff like that. And they'll just, like, watch the most random movies on Netflix. And it's, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, like, like people are, like, they'll just watch, like, anything on Netflix. And it just seems like they enjoy movies a lot more than people who are, like, super into movies. It's kind of weird.
It is a paradox. The last thing I'll say about it is, like, I don't know why. This is such a wild idea, right? Because like the DCU, you know, James Gunn. There's all the speculation on who's gonna play what and whatever. If they really want to get crazy with the Joker, right? Because it feels like the Joker has kind of been beaten. The horse been beaten down on every single iteration.
It's hard to top the previous iterations.
Yeah, I think if they cast her to do it, I'm being honest with you right now. She'd do an amazing job. Now, the script has to be good. And I think with Gunn, you know, if he were the director or somebody else, if he picked somebody else to direct it, he's kind of like the head of the new DCU. Now he's like the Feige, you know. I think a lot of people would shut up. But again, you know, some people will just talk because they love to talk. But I think a lot of people would be surprised, which again shouldn't shock anybody if you watch any other stuff she's in.
Yeah, I gotta like check out some of her. I'm not really familiar with her work, but like I don't know. Isn't she kind of like the main character in Stranger Things?
Yeah, she's the engine. She's like the engine of the show, right? Like she's the engine of the show.
I need to watch Stranger Things. How many seasons are there?
There's 4.
4? Okay, yeah. So there's the 5th season going to be like the last one?
Yeah, it's the last one.
Okay, once season 5 comes out,
Yeah.
I need to like binge through it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll enjoy it for sure. You'll enjoy it for sure.
I like the first season a lot. It kind of reminded me of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I don't know if have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. It's very good. Actually, there's another movie that I watched back in the day that really, it kind of unintentionally introduced me to my first real artist that I really loved, besides the ones that I liked at the time, and my first real like celebrity crush. It was Vertigo, right?
Oh, the Hitchcock movie?
Yeah, dude, Vertigo.
I love that movie.
That movie messed my mind up. I hated that movie so much when I first watched it. It's so funny. I told the joke after. It's like, this movie gave me vertigo.
Dude. And I love that movie, but I can definitely see why not everyone would love it for sure.
Yeah. I rewatched it recently. It's like, this is one of the best movies ever, bro. Like, it's the atmosphere. The atmosphere. It's just so
exactly.
The atmosphere is incredible. Like,
dude, it is so good. I love.
It's so engrossing. Every character, everybody's is putting their acting A++ game, and that's.
Dude, and it's so cool to see just movies when they're shot on location back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And it feels just so different. It's kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's how funny enough, a couple months later, maybe a year later, I don't know, but it's during the same year, I've discovered Lana Del Rey.
Nice.
And that my mind made that connection, and I saw her as that. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Fits perfectly, and I became obsessed with her for I was a straight up 6-7 months. I would have constant daydreams about it. It was so wild. I'll be talking about her in class unprompted. People be looking at me like I'm crazy, and it's so funny. I wrote this because I think it was grade 8. This was before winter break. And you have to write what person inspires you the most or something like that. I wrote Lana Del Rey, and I didn't think I was gonna get any answer. Then I got it back. I think I got an 8. I think I got an A on that. And
nice.
And next thing you know, it's oh man, she's so amazing. Thank you for I'm like, it's all cool. It's all cool. Then, kid you not, a couple months later, right? This is the last assembly before the graduation to high school, right? They started playing West Coast, and I'm like, whoa. It is bro, I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, they get it, bro. They get it.
Yeah, dude, she's just got a great voice. I'm not that familiar with her stuff. I gotta look more into. I've definitely heard her just in passing. But
yeah,
I have never actually just sat down and listened to a Lana Del Rey album.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Are you hyped for the new Tron Ares movie?
Sorry, what?
Tron Ares.
I don't know who that is. I feel I'm not plugged in enough to I need to catch up on I don't know a lot of these.
You don't know Tron?
Nah, dude.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I feel I need I'm so behind when it comes to music. When it comes to any music made in the last 5 years or so, I'm so out of touch.
I'm not talking about that's not an album. I'm talking about a movie. Tron Legacy.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about an artist. Oh, yeah. Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen I think Tron Legacy is the one I saw.
Yeah. All-time favorite movie. My all-time favorite movie.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about an artist.
I was not talking about an artist. All-time favorite movie. And it's led by maybe my all-time favorite soundtrack ever. Daft Punk.
Which Tron what?
Tron Legacy.
Oh, Tron. Okay, yeah, that's the one I've seen, dude. Yeah, the soundtrack is. Didn't Daft Punk do the soundtrack?
Yeah, they did the soundtrack. It's unbelievable.
That is sick. That movie is dope.
Yeah, it is dope for sure. And I know Tron Ares is Jared Leto starring in it, and there's certain things I'm kind of iffy on, but I'm just the journey to get another Tron movie. It makes all of it worth it, in my humble opinion.
When did the original one come out? I think it was in the 70s or something.
I think 80s.
80s, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original. I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Every Tron movie, I would argue, has pushed the boundaries of like CGI and visual effects. It's not even a hot take. That's a cold take. You know, like the original Tron movie was one of the first movies that was fully. The majority of the movie was visual effects, and there was a story where supposedly, right, it didn't get nominated for Academy Award for Best Visual Effects or something like that because they felt like CGI was cheating. I'm like, what?
Oh wait, CGI is cheating?
Back then, yeah. Now it's like all the craze.
Now it's like the only thing they use.
You know, it's funny as hell. How can I say this? You said you were a big Kanye fan. So how did you get introduced to Kanye? What's your favorite Kanye album? And how do you feel about his, downfall, kind of thing?
Okay, so how I got introduced was definitely Graduation.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid. I don't even remember how old I was, but, like, I love that album as a kid.
Yeah.
Favorite album now, though, dude, I have a hot take. Probably Yeezus, dude.
Yeah,
I love Yeezus.
same. To me,
that album is so... I love, like, listening to Yeezus, because it's just, like... So, are you aware of, like, Death Grips at all? Have you listened to them?
Yeah, I listen to Death Grips, yeah. So, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'll tell you a little story about Yeezus.
I feel like Yeezus, like, it almost sounds like a bit like The Money Store by Death Grips, but it's like, Death Grips, the Money Store is a great album too. I love that, but Yeezus feels like that, but like with just like, it's just like a more polished version of it. I love Yeezus, dude, especially On Sight, dude. I love that song.
Song's insane.
That's my favorite Kanye album, I would say. Although, like, College Dropout up there too, for sure, because that's just like such a classic. And like, as far as Kanye's downfall, dude, it's kind of sad. Like, it's sad to see it, and it's like, I don't know. As far as, like, I definitely don't listen to any of his newer stuff. Yeah. Where it's like, I don't know if you, like, okay, I saw clips of, like, have you seen that song, World War III that he
Yeah, I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
Like, part of me thinks that Kanye is just, like, being an edgelord and he's just trolling, but, like, he's going way too far with it to the point where it's like, okay, I can't even give you any benefit of the doubt, like...
It's one of those things with him is like he's always been a guy that's always towing the line. He's always trying to toe the line and go back and toe the line and go back. And it's just at some point the line just breaks and you just fall into again what we're seeing right now. Right? Obviously his mother's death has forever changed him. And we cannot not mention that. I think when people say that, he's always been like, it's like no, he's not. You know, when he
was different back. Like
when he started, like, where he is now,
like,
it proves again like he was never like this before. You know, sure, has he always been anti-establishment? Yes, but I feel like what happened is that I think there's an incident before the incident where I don't think people talk about this enough about his, when we're discussing why the hell he's at where he's at right now. There was an incident where it was a 2015 or 2016 Grammy or something like that, where Beck, Aaron Beck, he won Album of the Year that year, and he got super mad. He's like, he's gonna go up there.
Like
he's gonna do the same thing.
Graduation, right?
Yeah, he's gonna do the same thing when he did to Taylor Swift. He goes up. And he goes back. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, what? I'm like, security was there. I'm like, but I realized, I'm like, if he did that again, no one would have cared. He's always been about people having all their eyeballs on him. He's always been an attention-seeking type of guy. And look, when you're making great music, when you're making music that is changing the landscape of art, it works a lot. It works to the point where every single move we pay attention to what you're doing. When you do a listening party, millions of people tune in all around the world. But when you do stuff like this now, no one cares. Because people are just fed up. Like, people would rather... Even though I hate this guy now. I hate these people now. I hate these artists now. I used to love them back in the day. I hate them now.
Well, dude, the thing
Kendrick Lamar, Tyler... Cole, whatever. They rather pay attention to them because to them, their perception is they don't have the baggage that Kanye has. They don't have the but that Kanye has. And it speaks to the fact, like, a lot of his art, a lot of his work recently has just been him angry about shit that is not really that consequential. You know, as much as I love Yeezus, and, like, the funny thing about Yeezus is that was the first, because the thing about me with hip-hop was, like, I always liked hip-hop, you know, like, back in the day, like, Chris Brown was my favorite artist, because of my brother. Every song from back in the day, he did back in the day, that I listened to was a banger. And...
Well, dude, the thing with Kanye, too, is, like, so what I've heard a lot of people point out is that, like, they can't separate the art from the artist with Kanye because so much of the appeal of his music is, like, his personality, and it's like, well, now if you hate Kanye, you can't listen to his stuff, but, like, dude, I'll be honest, even, like, his old albums, like, yeah, Kanye sucks as a dude now, because, like, you can't deny he was saying some funny shit on those albums back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Kanye is, like, he's not necessarily the best lyricist, probably one of the best producers ever, but, like, dude, he might not be the best, like, technical MC rapper ever, but he's so funny, though. Like,
yeah, he is.
He has so many bars on his albums where I'm just like, it's just hilarious.
It is.
And it's like, I do kind of feel bad sometimes that I'm like, and actually not really, though, because, like, the thing, too, with, like, if you can't listen to art made by bad people, like, that's what I was saying in that video, too, is, like, there's so many other artists besides just Kanye who have either done something bad or they've said something, like, that you probably couldn't get away with now. You know what I mean? It's just, like, they're less famous cases, so people, like, don't really pay attention to it. But if you really look into a lot of these artists, it's like, how many artists are you going to just stop listening to then? If you're going to, like, I get why people, like, wouldn't want to listen to Kanye, that's fine. But it's like, if you're going to tell other people not to listen to Kanye, it's like, okay, but, like, right, you know, like, what other artists are you going to add to that list? Like,
you know,
it's a lot of artists, dude. Like,
that's the thing to me is, like, you know, it's funny because the thing is, like, the way I got into Yeezus, funny enough, was when Kanye had his first, like, public breakdown on the Life of Pablo tour around that time.
Right.
And this is what he said, like, you know, Jay-Z, I know you said Killers After Me. He said something about Drake and Spotify and Apple. It was your typical Kanye rant. He's all over the place, right? And he was clearly having a manic episode. He was clearly having it. And I ain't never seen so many people say, I'm not listening to him ever again. Just to see all those people listen to him when he dropped Yay, Kids See Ghosts, everybody loved him. And the next thing you know, he's like, he goes to Trump, and then he's having this meeting, and he mentions Superman, and it's the weirdest shit ever. And then Donda drops, and everybody loves him again. It's just like, I feel like he sees that, and he's like, okay, how far can I push this? And he pushed it to the point where, like, even if Bully is, like, the best album of the year, hypothetically, no one would care.
No, yeah.
It's not going to be played on the radio. He can't do any tours because all of them places have now banned him now. We can't perform in Australia. You can't play in Czech Republic. And no disrespect, but that country lets anybody come in to perform. You can only perform in Korea, Japan, maybe even China, maybe even Russia, maybe. But even then, they're not silly enough to say, hey, we're just going to sacrifice whatever little PR we have just for this. Maybe they would. I don't know. But, like, it's just one of those things is, like, the way that album Yeezus landed with so many people, how, you know, when it first dropped, everybody was kind of split on it. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. You know, it's a typical Kanye album discourse, you know. It's a cycle. People hate the record, then a couple years later, they like the record. The next thing you know, people say, well, it has influenced everything I've said. And that was true for a long time. That was true. Right? And
dude, I sorry to, like, interrupt, but, like, you just made me think, like, the whole split reaction to Yeezus was, like, I get why people don't like it, but, dude, I love it, dude. I love how it has, like, that industrial aggressive sound for, like, 90% of the album, and then it just ends on Bound 2.
Yeah.
It's just, like, this, like, cheesy love song almost, and it's just, like, I love it, dude. It's such a good album.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just felt like saying.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you know, I never forget, like, because I saw Neil Drops. Neil Drops' reason why I got into low-key, I got into Kanye in the first place, because he did this review about Life of Pablo when it came out, and I listened to the review, and he was kind of still on it. He gave like a 6. They did a redux a couple years later. Now he gives it an 8. I don't know what he thinks about the record now after recent things that happened. But I remember listening to On Site, and I'm like, okay, I'm not okay. He gets it. He gets it. Like because I used to have really bad temper. I had a really bad like temper tantrums. Like I would literally be interrupting class just because I'm bored. It was that bad, and that could have been that could have been like misattribute to me having a manic episode, I didn't have manic episodes. I'm not bipolar or anything, but there's definitely some like sort of neural diversion type of thing, that was going on during that time, and it just spoke to me. And when I started watching all the videos about it at that time and now, and look at the producers that are on that record: Daft Punk, Kazakhstan, Hudson Mohawk, Arca. I mean, Arca. I got introduced to Arca by that album. So when that Arca 2017 record came out, I was ready for that record. If I couldn't handle Yeezus, if I couldn't handle Born to Die, there's no way on earth I'll be listening to any people I listen to right now. Like I'm a massive fan of JPEG Mafia, right? Nice. And Yeezus was sort of like the prototype of his sound. It was the He even mentioned it in an interview in Oxford. He mentioned that record is like this is like one of the reasons why I do what I do, and you can see it all throughout. And the one thing,
dude, like what you're just saying too about all those producers on the album is like it's taking that kind of industrial style that has been it's been done before, but it's like you get all these like almost like the Avengers of producers to just like take that style and just bring it to like the max level. That's like it's so good, and I can definitely see how JPEG Mafia would be influenced by that for sure. Yeah,
the one thing, that's the one album I would love to see a sequel for. Yeezus 2 would break everything. And when Kanye was liked by the public, it would have broke everything. Because supposedly, that album was 3 hours long initially. Initially, there was a Target CD of that record that was actually shipped out to Target. There's actually shipped one to Canada. That's only seemingly caught that had no CD on it. And supposedly it had like the features on the record. It had like Adele, had A$AP Rocky, had Travis Scott, when Travis Scott wasn't even really known by anybody by that point. I think it had like Tyler the Creator or something like that, some wild thing like that. Like, I mean, and the funny thing about that those features I listened to at that time, they all would have fitted in perfectly. Because Kanye is kind of like an artist for everyone type of thing, right? And the thing about him is that, especially at his peak, he can make any artist sound incredible in their sound. Like, there was a remix that he did with Miley Cyrus, Black Skinner remix. It never came out because of sampling and all that stuff. She sounds amazing on that. Funny enough, that remix is what I got. Like, it's the reason why I'm actually a Miley fan now. Funny enough. It's one of those things about...
him and Travis Scott, too. Like, Travis Scott definitely very influenced by Kanye, but it's like they kind of like... Yeah. It seems like on all their albums, they just get together, like, all of these great producers, and they just kind of have a way of, like, kind of, like, bringing it all together, you know?
Yeah. Another artist that does that, I don't think it gets brought up enough, is Pusha T. Like, that new Clips record...
I like listen to more of his stuff.
You have to, bro. That new Clips record...
I've listened to Clips, yeah. I actually have listened to Clips, but, like, I haven't listened to a lot of, like, Pusha T's, like... what's the album? Daytona?
My Name's My Name. It's Almost Dry. Even his mixtapes were really good. But, like, the way that he... Like, because he's very good friends with Pharrell... So, it's a guarantee that you're going to see Pharrell production on his albums. And he sounds like... The thing, man, I think, like, Pharrell's, like... He's another guy, too. Like, any artist that he produces, that he features, that he's on... They sound like the best version of themselves every single time. And it's through multiple genres of music. Right? Like...
He is one of the best producers in the game, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, are you planning on watching a movie soon?
I would have to pick a movie to watch, but I usually watch people might be surprised if they see how many movie videos I've made. I probably watch like one movie a week which is like all I have time to really watch. But I don't know. I need to try to like make more time to watch more movies, but it's just because like working and then plus having to like edit all these videos and stuff. It's just, I don't know. It takes a lot of time, you know.
It does take a lot of time.
I need to think of a good movie to watch like next.
It's interesting you mentioned the time it takes for you to make your videos. How much time does it take to make your videos? Because you mentioned, I assumed it doesn't take that long. Your more popular ones, but now you're doing more like extended sort of video essays. How long does it take?
It just depends on the video. Like some of them don't take that long, but like some of them do take a while. Like there's some of them that took like 15, 20 hours almost, but like that's kind of, those are the longer ones. Most of them I would say like they still honestly probably take like 8 hours at least.
Okay.
Because it's like a lot of it is just editing. Like editing takes a while. I don't know if because I know you do your podcast, but it's like unedited, so that probably like it doesn't take too long. I mean, you probably have to spend a lot of time to prepare for it, though. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with me about that is like obviously I have my points on my notes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That kind of takes a little bit, you know. But for me, is like the goal of this podcast is essentially like be the opposite of Joe Rogan. You know, Joe Rogan's, you know, heavily edited, you know, very silly questions he has. And now it's like, it's a parody of itself now, you know? Like, it's so funny because now Jamie is talking. I'm like, bro, please, like, we don't need to hear your voice. No disrespect. Like, we don't need to hear your voice, bro. Like,
I haven't followed Joe Rogan in a while, but like, I just remember like, I'll see like clips of it. And to just see, like, some of the stuff, like, people talking about it, and it's just, like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like I don't really know. Like, he seems like, he's a good interviewer. Like, I'll say that. Like, he knows how to, like, talk to people and, like, get the best out of his guests. But he's also, like, he's just always going out, like, stepping out of his lane in terms of, like, stuff he's actually, like, an expert in.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, I don't know. I don't think he necessarily, like, does it on purpose, from what I can tell. But it seems like he's so popular that people will listen to him, even though he'll say, like, I'm just an idiot, like, don't actually, like, listen to what I say, but, it doesn't matter, because people, like, if Joe Rogan says something, there's going to be, like, 100,000 people who are just going to now believe that to be true, you know what I mean? So it is kind of sketchy in that sense.
It is sketchy. It also, even the podcasts I like some of my favorites are, like, Pivot Podcast, Ryan Clark, and Fred Taylor, Club Shay Shay. I know Shannon Sharp is some controversy, but still, like, I mean, what he's done with that is unbelievable. Shout out to him for that. I would say Theo Vaughn, only because, like, I know Theo Vaughn is, like, he's a Trumper, and he doesn't, like, he kind of tells you he is, but I don't get the sense he pushes it to his audience in the way Joe does, you know? Like, because Theo has had very, like, progressive people on his podcast. And it seems like he may disagree with what they're saying, but he at least respects them to have a platform. That's what I like. I mean, his interview with Ben Affleck was really good. Like, really good. Him and Tim Chalamet, like, they had chemistry that I didn't think was possible, you know? So, yeah.
Chalamet? On who?
Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Oh, Theo Vaughn, okay. Yeah, I've never actually listened to any Theo Vaughn podcast, but so I'm not familiar. I know who he is, but I'm, like, not really familiar with, like, him at all other than just, like, knowing who he is, basically.
All right.
One thing I have heard of, I don't know if you have an opinion on this, is, like, a lot, like, so I don't really, like, keep up that much with stand-up comedy, but from, like, what little I've seen is that, like, a lot of these stand-up comedians just, like, go on Joe Rogan's podcast and, like, immediately launch, like, a career out of it.
Yeah.
But it's, like, a lot of them are not, like, that good of stand-ups, apparently.
Yeah.
So what's that guy's name?
Brandon Schwab?
Yeah, that guy. Like,
yeah, that guy's
just like people like that, where it's like, I don't really know. I don't really have that much of an opinion on these people, but it's just like, it is kind of crazy though that just like some dude with a podcast is like, someone could go onto like a podcast episode and then immediately blow up just because of that. It's like, it is crazy how popular some of these are. It's just wild.
It is wild for sure. It's really, really wild. Have you heard of Calvin Hobbes?
Nah. Wait, Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah.
Like the cartoon or like the comic thing?
Comic strip, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember reading those at some point as a kid.
Yeah.
But so I do know of Calvin and Hobbes.
It's funny because it's so funny because, there is like this sort of because obviously Bill Watterson never wanted to commercialize anything that he does. Everything to him is like, if it's on the strip, it's good enough. He does commercialize T-shirts and, heaven forbid he's gonna send his material out for studios to adapt. But like, the one thing I'm worried about, bro, is like, if he obviously I don't know how old he is, but I'm gonna assume he's up there in age. If something were to happen to him next 10 to 20 years, I have a very funny feeling that a studio is going to pay the brig trucks like 100 mil, 200 mil for that. And a movie's going to get made.
Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes the movie.
And the new generation, that is going to be their first introduction. And if I'm going to be real, it's not going to be that good. And it's going to be like, I'm going to die a little inside.
Dude, you know what's gonna be crazy too is like when like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that becomes public domain. It's probably not gonna. I think it came out in the 50s. I'm pretty sure. So like, and I think I could be wrong. I don't know. Like I think it takes like 75 years or something like that. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But like, once these things become public domain and anyone could just make a movie about it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna start flooding the theaters with all that kind of stuff, or just all like Netflix and all of that.
Interesting. What is your celebrity crush? Like, it could be one from growing up. I don't know if you have a girlfriend or not.
Celebrity crush? Let me think. Okay, well, Margaret Qualley might be one.
Oh, yes. She's the one, for sure. Who else?
I'm trying to think. I would have to see, I'm not really, a huge, celebrity crush guy.
Yeah.
But it's, I would have to, see a list of, people to jog my memory. But Margaret Qualley off the top of my head would be one. Who else? I don't know. Honestly, dude, I feel like most celebrities are pretty fine, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I heard someone say, saw a tweet. I said that nobody is really ugly if you really think about it. I guarantee you, the person you think is ugly, I bet you there's people lining up to go out with them. It's just the way that you look at them has been sort of warped because beauty standards and
especially you'll see people do you know who Tate McRae is? I think.
Yeah, I don't say
So there's this huge thing of a lot of people will go online and be like, oh, Tate McRae is ugly or something. It's I guarantee the people saying this, if she came up to you in real life, you would shit your pants.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these people online are just so weird about that. They're they'll call these celebrities ugly, and it's bro, they're not ugly at all.
They're not.
The fuck you talking about, dude?
Exactly. Interesting. So obviously I mentioned Lana. Millie Bobby Brown's probably number one celebrity crush. Haley Steinfeld's up there, obviously.
Margaret Qualley. Kind of probably a normal one, I guess. Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, shout out ScarJo. It's pretty
basic. Yeah, I feel that's a lot of people's answer though.
Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, bro, she's different, man.
Who?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh yeah, from Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ray.
Honestly, dude, I feel
Ray she's from the UK.
Almost any famous actor, actress from Hollywood, and it's
yeah.
There's a reason why they're a famous actor.
Yeah, I could list them all day. Another one that's more unconventional is Bella Ramsey. Only just cause she seems like the most happiest person in the world.
The girl from Last of Us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know why, but she's very, very lovely. Another one, Emma Corrin from Deadpool Wolverine. I saw her, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, dude, have you seen Dune Part 2?
Yeah, I have.
The mom in Dune, Lady Jessica. I forget the
Rebecca Ferguson,
name.
yes.
Yeah, it's her, dude. She's fine.
Bro, I've been on that since Rogue Nation, bro. She's been that.
Right.
I've been on that. I swear, anytime someone's in a Denis Villeneuve movie, they look their best. Florence Pugh in Dune Part 2, bro, I was gasping for air, bro. Leo Sado, whoa. even like so funny because there was a time I actually had a crush on Ariana's back in the day. It was like for like a little bit, then it went away. It was mainly because her in Blade Runner 2049. Granted, my brother's like, obsessed with her, so I mean, okay, that's whatever. Funny. But
like she's like an AI
android, yeah.
She's like his AI girlfriend. That's gonna be a thing, dude.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
And years from now, people are just gonna have like an AI girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
like a robot or some shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the thing I'm worried about. Is like,
have you seen the movie Her?
Yeah, seen it. It's a great movie.
Like that. It's gonna be like that.
I mean, there was a guy who was like crying because his AI girlfriend rejected him on ChatGPT. I'm like, what? Like
that's crazy, dude.
That like what? I could not believe that. I'm like, that has to be made up. And there's a whole video. I'm like, what the f, man? Like,
dude, there's like AI is getting so crazy at this point. Like, there'll be times where I'll be like talking to ChatGPT, and I'm just like, because I'll ask it like questions of like how to do stuff, you know, like just like basic like Google search almost. But it's like, I don't know, dude. Sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this shit is getting way too advanced.
It is getting way too advanced.
I don't know how old you are, but it was like in my case, like I graduated college like right before like all of this like AI became. But like I'm just
you know, it's funny. How old are you?
I don't want to say my exact age on the internet just because I'm like
early 20s.
I'm like, well, I'm older than that.
All right, okay.
But I'll just say this is that like people who are doing college now, it's just like they can just use ChatGPT to like basically cheat on everything. It's like even like so people think of it too as like you can get it to write an essay for you for a lot of classes, which is true. But it's like even in like engineering classes, like it'll get the answers wrong a lot of the time, but like especially if you ask it to program something or like write this program in Python that does this and this, and like it'll spit out an answer in like 5 seconds, and like a lot of the times it actually gives you some code that works. So I'm just thinking like how many people are just using that to get through a lot of classes, because I know like some of the hardest assignments I had in college were literally just like you have to like write a program that does this, and you'd have like no one, like, you had no real thing to work with to help you because you'd have to do it in the classroom and finish before the end of the lab.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you didn't finish it, then you would just fail that lab, and you can only fail, like, one lab. Otherwise, you just fail the whole class, basically.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was so stressful, but it was like, I guess technically they probably have ways to, like, not let people use ChatGPT for stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, it is crazy. Like, I'm sure, like, a lot of people are just using it to cheat their way through college, which, I mean, you can't really stop people from doing it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Cat's been out of the bag on that. What's your favorite album of last year and this year? Right now.
Favorite album of last year? So, like I was saying, I, like, am so behind on new music. Like, I'm just, like, I really don't listen to, like, a lot of the newer stuff just because, like, there's so much music that comes out, it just feels almost overwhelming, you know?
It is.
But I guess if I had to pick, I'll just go with that Chapel Roan album.
Yeah.
I know it's a very basic, I just didn't listen to, like, enough stuff other than that.
Yeah.
But I'll go with, like, I forget what the album's called. You know the one, though? It's, like, with the one with, like, Pink Pony Club and all those songs?
Yeah.
That album is just so good. I love it.
Okay. Interesting.
What about you? What's your favorite?
Last year, that's a really interesting question. There's a couple that spring to mind. Brad. I mean, that's
Brad's a good one, dude.
Have
you listened to like Charlie XCX's other stuff too?
Oh, I've been a Charlie XCX fan for like a while.
Nice, dude. Because all of her albums, I would say, like not all of them, but like she has like 4 or 5 albums that are like just as good as Brad. Like she has such a good discography.
Yeah. Billie Eilish's record last year is probably my favorite record last year. It was so good.
I got to check that out. I've like barely listened to any of her music at all, so I need to like familiarize myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any like who are the new like other than like these pop stars? Like who are the new like artists that are blowing up right now? Like I listened to a lot of artists that blew up like maybe like 8-9 years ago. Yeah. Like, you know, just like the obvious ones like Travis Scott or like Cardi or just like all those ones, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
the new guy
coming up?
The new Doechii is blowing up.
Doechii, right? Yeah. I've listened to a few of her songs. Like, I hate Anxiety, but like, other than that.
I don't mind it, but I mean, it's not. I mean, it was originally a joke song. Like she did that song as a joke. Now it's not be played on the radio. That's absolutely hilarious.
I heard it so many times on TikTok and it made me hate it.
Yeah. Another one, Redville. He's not mainstream at all, but he has had a lot of underground support. I think JID is another guy.
Okay, yeah, I know him. Forever Story, that was a good album.
Great record. Another one, I heard of Tyla.
She's like a producer, right?
No. She's like, she is not really a producer. She's a singer. She's from South Africa.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've heard some of her songs. I'm just blanking on the name.
There hasn't been a lot of male artists that have been blowing up recently that haven't already blown up. I could say, what about Benson Boone? But that guy's a bit of a joke for some reason. It's weird. Another guy, he hasn't blown up at all.
Like Sexy Red and stuff too. But that's like not even that new though.
Not even exactly. You should listen to Night Lovell and Sean Leon. Like
who?
Night Lovell and Sean Leon. Okay. They're hip hop artists.
Okay, all right.
Night Lovell to me, peak for peak.
Redville, Night Lovell, Sean. Okay, I gotta check those out.
Peak for peak. He's peak. To me, he's the best SoundCloud artist of all time. 2014 to like almost 2018, like that run he was on, it was insane. Like I'm talking better than 21 Savage, better than Uzi. I would even say better than Cardi right now. I know it's weird to say because Cardi's like he's a superstar now, which is so weird. Like a guy like that, like I mean,
that's another example, kind of like Kanye, terrible person, but like I like his music, so
yeah. So it's interesting for sure. Like another one that another artist that I really like that I don't know if you heard of. Forgot her name. Granted, the record they dropped was like 5 years ago. It was 2020, right? It's called Drab City. They're like this indie alternative dream pop, almost like hip hop type of record. They're not rapping or anything, but like there's like her voice is so good. And
what are they called again? Sorry,
Drab City.
Drab City. All right, yeah. I need to write these down on my notes app so I know what to look up.
Yeah, for sure. What artist? It could be hip hop or whatever. What artist do you think is overhated?
Overhated.
Yeah.
I got to think about that for a second to know. Okay, well, I would have said Cardi, but like he gets hated but he's mostly like not really that hated. But like, I'll say this about Cardi. So, a lot of people like point out that he is like a horrible lyricist, which I agree with. He's not a good lyricist, but like my thing with Cardi is that every line he says on his albums is just a hook.
Yeah.
And like once you from that perspective, he's just every line he says, he's not really rapping. He's just dropping a bunch of hooks and ad libs and stuff. Once you like view it through that perspective, like I feel like you can just get down with how like dumb the lyrics are.
Yeah.
Like I think he's so good at that too, and like obviously the production is kind of carrying it too.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't say though he's like overhated though, just because like number one, a lot of the hate is because he's kind of just like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which that's like kind of deserved. But like, as far as his music though, I would say like a lot of people are like, he was like I've heard a lot of people say that he's like one of the worst like rappers of all time, which is like I can kind of get why people would say that, but
yeah,
like I think I really like his music.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
although his latest album wasn't that good, like music, wasn't that good, but like Die Lit is an all timer in my. I love that album.
Yeah, another person, it might be a very, very unconventional answer. I'm gonna say Big Sean and Chance the Rapper. Like,
Chance the Rapper was like before. What was that album he did? That really bad one.
The Big Day.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Before that though, Chance the Rapper was like he was like so highly regarded, and then he drops one bad album, and now he's like a joke all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, that doesn't take away from the great stuff he did before that.
Yeah, for sure. So we're near the end of the interview, and we're gonna play this little game. Heard Drink Champs?
What?
Drink Champs, like this podcast hosted by Noriega and.
No.
So it's what they do is that every interview, they do this Q&A session where you have two artists, or two people, or two franchises, or two albums, or whatever. You you have to pick. The difference is there's no drinking, obviously. You can't say both, and you can't say neither. If you want to explain why you picked your choice or a story about it, you're free to do that. Are you okay with that?
Sounds good, dude.
Okay. Kanye West or Kendrick Lamar?
I'm taking Kanye in terms of just the music. I love Kendrick's music, but it's really like I'm comparing the only Kendrick album I regularly re-listen to is Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Whereas there's like 4 or 5 Kanye, like old Kanye albums that I listen to a lot.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, so I'll pick Kanye just because I know it's probably controversial, but I'll take Kanye over Kendrick.
Okay. Drake or Lil Wayne?
What was the second one?
Lil Wayne.
Oh, I'm taking Lil Wayne because I'm just not a Drake fan.
Okay. Alright, okay. Haley Steinfeld or Amy Adams?
Amy Adams, dude, because she, in terms of, are you talking about, like who's hotter or, like, who's...
You can incorporate that if you want, but...
Okay, I was going to say, Amy Adams is a baller actor, though. Like, she's in, have you seen, I'm blanking, what was the Denis Villeneuve movie, Arrival?
Yeah, I saw Arrival, great movie.
She's in so many good movies, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she's a great actor. I'll take Amy Adams.
Yeah, okay. Megan Fox or Millie Bobby Brown?
I'm gonna go with who's hotter because I have barely seen any of their movies. I'll go with Megan Fox.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
I have barely seen. I don't know.
All right, that's interesting. Michael Bay or Zack Snyder?
I'm gonna go with Zack Snyder just because 300. I loved that movie as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan Johnson or J.J. Abrams?
Ryan Johnson. Just only, and not because of Star Wars, but because of the Knives Out movies.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Mikey Madison or Sophie Thatcher?
I don't even know who the second one is. Sophie Thatcher?
She was in Yellow Jackets. She was in Heretic with Hugh Grant. She was in Companion with Jack Quaid.
Okay, I haven't seen any of those. I'll go with Mikey Madison just because I really liked Anora.
Okay.
Anora was a dope movie.
Okay. Christopher Nolan or Stanley Kubrick?
Ooh. I would say Stanley Kubrick overall, I think, has a better filmography, but Christopher Nolan, I will say, his movies are probably more entertaining most nights of the week. But,
yeah.
I gotta go with Kubrick, though, just because I think,
yeah.
He's made some of the best movies of all time.
Yeah. Sam Raimi or James Gunn?
I'm going to go with... Oh, that's a tough one, actually. I'm going to go with Sam Raimi because he did The Evil Dead.
Yes.
Which, those... And the Spider-Man are awesome, too. But,
yeah.
Evil Dead, dude.
Yeah.
Those are great movies.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Ridley Scott or Tony Scott?
I would go with Ridley Scott just because, Blade Runner, Alien, and Gladiator are all, some of my all-time favorites. A lot of people don't like Ridley Scott because he's, very hit and miss, but
yeah.
When Ridley Scott is on the top of his game, he delivers some, banger movies.
Yeah. All right. Playboy Cardi or Lil Uzi Vert?
Cardi.
Okay.
Easy. I like Uzi, but
yeah,
I just Die Lit is one of my favorite trap albums for sure.
Yeah.
And the self-titled mixtape he did.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an underrated album too. I love that. I think it's almost as good as Die Lit.
Yeah. A$AP Rocky or Travis Scott?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I got to give respect to A$AP for Travis Scott obviously was heavily inspired by that.
Yeah.
Although also DJ Screw and stuff too.
Yeah.
Before that, but in terms of what I listen to a lot more often, Travis Scott.
All right.
I love Rodeo and Astro World, so I'll go with Travis.
Okay. Schoolboy Q or Isaiah Rashad?
I honestly haven't listened to enough of either of them.
Yeah.
To really answer that.
Okay. Beyonce or Prince?
Prince, dude.
Okay.
Prince is I think honestly one of the best artists, not even just pop artists, just one of the best musicians, popular musicians of all time.
Yeah.
Dude was a genius.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra or Michael Jackson?
I'm not really like a huge on either of them that much, to be honest. Like, I'll probably go with Michael Jackson just because I think Thriller is probably, if I had to pick like any of their albums I'd listen to. I don't really ever listen to like any Frank Sinatra music, to be honest.
You have to listen to it, bro. You have to tap it, though.
I need to get into it.
Yeah. The Game or Ice Cube?
I gotta go with Ice Cube just because, like, he's got so many classics from the 90s, you know?
Yeah. But Game's discography is underrated, though. I think his antics overshadow. Like Drillmatic's fire.
Dude, Today Was a Good Day, just everything with NWA. Like, dude, Ice Cube, we just got too many, like, all-timers.
Yeah. Tyler, the Creator, or Earl Sweatshirt?
I'm going to go with Earl Sweatshirt just because I saw him live. I haven't seen Tyler. This might be my hot take. I think Tyler, the Creator, is a great artist. I just don't really listen to his music very often. Like I listen to, like, Igor, and I listen to, like, some of his older stuff. But it's always just one of those things where, like, I'll listen to the album, and I'm like, yeah, that was really good, but then I never listen to it again. Okay. So I'll go with Earl. Okay. Marilyn Monroe or Audrey Hepburn? Audrey Hepburn.
Okay. Interesting. Ariana Grande or Mariah Carey?
Honestly, I like barely listen to either of their music at all, so like I don't really have much of an answer as far as like their music, you know.
All right. Pete Rock or Just Blaze?
I don't even know who either of those people are. Might be, I don't know. Should I know who those are?
They're producers.
Okay, yeah, I don't know who either of them are.
All right, okay. Pharrell or Timbaland?
I would have to I know Timbaland has produced a lot of stuff, and I just don't remember off the top of my head what stuff he's actually produced. But I know he's been on a lot of stuff. I'll just go with Pharrell just because I don't know. I don't really remember which producer produced which though. It's hard to remember that.
Okay. Pusha T or Mos Def?
I like I said earlier, I haven't listened to enough Pusha T, but I would have to just go with Mos Def just because I've listened to him a little bit more.
Okay. Tupac or DMX?
Tupac for sure. I like DMX, but Tupac has just got a lot more going on in the discography, you know.
Okay. Jadakiss or Styles P?
I'm not familiar enough with either of their stuff.
All right. Logic or Macklemore?
Oh god, I don't really listen to. If I had to pick, I'd pick Logic.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because I don't know. I don't really listen to either though.
G-Eazy or French Montana?
I'm not familiar enough with either of their music.
Okay. Lana Del Rey or Billie Eilish?
Lana Del Rey for sure.
Okay. Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Ooh, I'm gonna say De Niro.
Yeah.
I love Pacino, but sometimes I feel like Pacino is great in with certain movies, but sometimes I feel like he's kind of doing the Pacino stick where he's kind of
he's hamming it up
over the top thing. But I like it. It's fun to watch, but I don't know. I would go with De Niro. They're both legends though.
Yeah, for sure. Connor McDavid or Mario Lemieux?
I gotta go with McDavid, dude. I never watched Lemieux, but I'm not old enough to have watched Lemieux. Dude, Connor McDavid is so good, man. You watch him play, and it just feels like he just has an extra gear to his game that nobody else has on the ice. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels like when you're watching him, it feels like he's almost viewing everything else in normal speed.
Yeah.
Or he's viewing things in slow motion, and everyone else is in normal speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I see what you mean.
Dude, I was so shook that the Oilers lost too. By the way,
that's crazy.
Again, twice in a row.
That's
I'm the Canucks guy, but I'll root for any Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup because it's Canada's cursed, man.
Yeah. Kucherov or Malkin?
Ooh. I would say Malkin just because those Crosby Malkin teams were so good.
Yeah, they were good. Alex Ovechkin or Gordie Howe?
I mean, I never watched Gordie Howe play, but I've heard the stories, man. Like,
Yeah.
I got to go with Gordie Howe, dude. He's Mr. Hockey. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
Mr. Hockey. Okay. Austin Matthews or Paul Coffey?
I'm gonna go with Austin Matthews. I mean, like, I know he's like a lot of people like to shit on the Leafs, dude, but like,
yeah,
I think the Leafs are good, dude. They were the closest team to beating the Panthers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Like,
yeah.
Like, people were giving them a hard time, but I was like, dude, they're good. Like, it's hard to beat Florida, man. Like,
it is hard. It is hard for sure. Patrick Mahomes or Peyton Manning?
That's a tough one. I think I'll go with Mahomes just because, like, I just think he, like, watching him play, he just seems like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, like, obviously Manning was a legend, but like, I feel like Mahomes is just like, you watch some of the plays he makes, you're like, damn, dude, like, that's just like, I ain't seen a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, he's good. I don't like I hate the Chiefs, but like, I got to give Mahomes credit.
All right, Lamar Jackson or Drew Brees?
If I was like a general manager, not that I know anything, like, but like, I would pick Lamar Jackson. That might be a hot take, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just like, okay, I understand Drew Brees is one of the most accurate throwers of all time, but like, dude, Lamar Jackson is already a really good thrower, and like, he can run the ball like no one else, like no other quarterback. So it's like, I feel like that adds so much to the offense. Like, I would pick probably a hot take. I'm sure if there's any football fans, they might flame me for that, but I'd pick Lamar, dude.
Okay. Mike Evans or Devontae Adams?
So wait, I know Mike Evans is like the wide receiver in the Bucks. Devontae Adams, like, who does he play for again?
The Rams.
Sorry, who?
He plays for the Rams, LA Rams.
Oh, Devontae.
And then
who did he play for before? Didn't he play for the Raiders at one point, or like? The
Packers? He played for the Raiders, and then he went to the Jets. But his original team was the Packers. That's what most of his best seasons.
I know. Yeah, I think Devontae Adams, dude, he's good.
Yeah,
that dude is good. When he was with Rodgers, man, like, they were so good. I think I'm thinking of the right person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with Devontae Adams.
Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre?
I think Rodgers. I don't know. I never really watched Favre play, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But like, apparently Brett Favre is also kind of a scumbag.
Yeah. Yeah, he stole from like charities.
Yeah, he like stole charity money or something. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's already like a multi-millionaire, which is just even more insane. Like, yeah, I'll go with Rodgers, dude. Rodgers is like, in terms of just watching him play, dude, like one of the best QBs I've seen.
Yeah. Okay. LeBron or Jordan?
I mean, I got to go with LeBron just because I never saw Jordan play. Like, I don't know. I've heard all the arguments, like, he's got 6 rings and all that, but it's like, I never saw him play. I watched LeBron play, and he's like so good.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I'm sure I can understand if people watch Jordan play and like they would know better. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. LeBron is the best basketball player I've ever seen, so I have to go with LeBron.
Okay. Pascal Siakam or Chris Webber?
I gotta go with Siakam just because he got the Raptors a ring, you know.
Yeah, that's a great take. Trae Young or Jalen Brunson?
Is Jalen Brunson the guy in the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I don't think I've even seen any Knicks games like at all, like when they've had Jalen Brunson. So I would just have to go Trae Young by default because I've seen him play a few times.
Okay. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I got to go with SGA just because he's a Canadian, dude. I got to rep with Canada. Yeah. But, dude, Giannis is... honestly, if I had to realistically answer, probably Giannis, though.
Yeah.
Like, that dude is just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Like...
Jimmy Butler or Scottie Pippen?
I mean, obviously, probably Scottie Pippen in terms of, like, he probably is a better player, but, like, again, I never watched him play, so I don't know what I'd be... I'll rep with Jimmy Butler, even though... Yeah, realistically, like, that's probably a crazy take. Like, I'm sure Scottie Pippen is probably a better player, but I don't know.
Jason Tatum or Paul Pierce?
I don't know. I feel like Paul Pierce has more aura.
Yeah.
But Jason Tatum is just probably like a better player, though. You know. I'll go with Paul Pierce though, just because
yeah,
dude, apparently he shit himself in a game at one point. I don't know.
He was a Raptors killer on 2 different teams, actually 3 different.
Yeah.
So that also. Paul George or Tracy McGrady.
I'm gonna go with T-Mac, dude, just because back in the PlayStation 2 era, when I was a little kid, I remember playing this NBA game, and I would always play with T-Mac and Kobe and all these players. So I'll go with T-Mac.
Okay. Kobe Bryant or Zinedine Zidane?
Okay, well, I mean, in terms of as a legendary player, I watched a lot, probably Kobe, but Zidane just for headbutting that guy in the World Cup, dude. That was one of the craziest things to ever happen in a sports game. So I'll go with Zidane just for that.
Okay.
Think how crazy it is that he did that, dude.
Yeah.
He just headbutted this dude in the chest, in the World Cup with 1 billion people watching.
Yeah, it's wild.
Crazy, dude.
Robert Lewandowski or Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
I'll probably go with Zlatan, but I don't really. The only knowledge I've had of either players playing in FIFA, I've watched Zlatan play a few times when he was on. I think he was on PSG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Lewandowski, who was he? He played for Bayern, right, for a while.
He started at Dortmund, Bayern. Now he's in Barcelona.
Isn't He's probably a better player though than Zlatan, right? He was. One of the best in the world,
it's a toss up. Right? It's a toss up, which is testament.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll go with Zlatan just because he's. I don't know. He's just cool.
Okay. Okay, Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think Scorsese does have a better filmography. It's kind of hard to compare though because they're so different in terms of the types of movies they make.
Yeah.
I feel like Spielberg is probably the best at making blockbuster movies, you know. But I mean, I would rather watch Scorsese's filmography than Spielberg's.
Okay. Quentin Tarantino or Spike Lee?
I mean, honestly, dude, I got to go with Tarantino just because I've rewatched so many of his movies so many times. Spike Lee does have a lot of really good movies, and in terms of influence and all that, I'm sure Spike Lee is had more influence, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watched. I love Tarantino's movies, though. You know, I just love rewatching them. And I don't know if you watched. I did a video recently ranking Tarantino because I recently rewatched his movies. I went through a Tarantino rabbit hole and God, dude, all of his movies hold up so well. They're so fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Game of Thrones or Sopranos?
I haven't seen Sopranos, dude. I really got to see it. I've had people in my comments telling me to watch it. I need to watch it.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing with it's how long is it though? It's
7 seasons.
Yeah, and each season probably takes 10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing with TV shows. It's just I like them, but it's just they're so long. They take so long to finish.
Yeah. For sure. Ana de Armas or Gal Gadot?
Yeah, in terms of an actor, not even close. Ana de Armas. In terms of who is hotter, Gal Gadot.
Okay, that's interesting. Wow. Batman or Spider-Man?
I gotta go with Batman.
Okay.
Because I just like the Batman movie. I've never read a comic book, so I'm not going off comics. I'm just off the movies, dude. The Dark Knight. Probably the best superhero movie, and then the Tim Burton Batman movies are dope, and the villains, dude, in Batman are so great. The Joker, obviously, and Penguin and Catwoman, they're just great characters. So I'll go Batman.
Okay. These are shows. Okay, Teen Titans or SpongeBob?
I mean, I got to go with SpongeBob. I've never seen Teen Titans, but dude, SpongeBob is the goat of kids cartoons. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Regular show or Amazing World of Gumball?
Never seen either. I don't.
Okay. Adventure Time or Gravity Falls?
Yeah, never seen either.
Oh damn. Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon?
I think I would go with Cartoon Network just because it had Adult Swim, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that on there?
Yeah, it was on there.
So yeah, I'll go Cartoon Network.
Okay. All right. Freddie Mercury or John Lennon?
I think I like the Beatles way more than I like Queen, but individually, I would go Freddie Mercury.
Okay. Wu-Tang Clan or Tribe Called Quest?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, Enter the 36 Chambers, I think the best album between of them. But, like, the Tribe Called Quest had the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want two great albums or one, like, really, really great album? So I will go with Wu-Tang Clan just because, I don't know. I think they're just a little bit... Okay. Like, they're so funny, dude. I mean, they're both funny, actually. Like, Phife Dawg is one of the funniest and most underrated MCs ever. So I'll give credit to them for that, but I got to go with Wu-Tang.
Okay. DJ Paul or DJ Screw?
I gotta go with DJ Screw just because, like, I love that psychedelic Houston sound.
Yeah.
And he also had a lot of influence on artists I really like. I really like A$AP Rocky and Travis Scott, so I'll go with DJ Screw.
Okay.
Oh, and R.I.P. Screw, which is like a tribute to DJ Screw, is one of my favorite Travis songs, too. So.
Miley Cyrus or Olivia Rodrigo?
I actually, really like Olivia Rodrigo's music, dude. Like, I liked her first album. I forget what it was called. Like, the one with, like, you know what I mean? Like, her first album. And, like, her new album, Guts, like, I really liked it. So I'll go with O-Rod, dude. I like her music.
Yeah, for sure. Justin Timberlake or Britney Spears?
I don't really listen to either of them much, but I got to go with Britney Spears just because she does have a few songs that I actually really like.
Okay. You gotta check out JT's early records, especially
I gotta get more into that.
50 Cent or T.I.?
You know what? I'm gonna go with T.I. because hot take, like, he is one of the most influential artists in terms of, like, trap music. Like,
ever.
I know that there was 666 was already making trap music, like, in the 90s, I guess, technically, but T.I. was ahead of the curve, dude. Like, I like 50 Cent a lot too, but, like, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll go T.I. Maybe a hot take.
Yeah. Eminem or Elvis Presley?
I mean, I would go with Eminem because I literally never listened to Elvis Presley.
Okay. Interesting. Daft Punk or Aphex Twin?
Ooh. That is tough, man. Okay, so Selected Ambient Works is record. One of the best albums, but, like, I think I'd probably rather just listen to Discovery most. I'll go Daft Punk.
Okay. Justice or Kaytranada?
I'm not familiar enough with either of them, but I've definitely heard of them. I need to, like, check them out.
Okay. Okay. Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris?
I'll go with Bruce Lee just because I've never seen anything with Chuck Norris other than memes.
Yeah.
I've seen, like, a little bit of Bruce Lee, so I'll go Bruce Lee.
Tom Cruise or Jackie Chan?
I mean, I have not seen enough Jackie Chan movies, so I'll just go Tom Cruise. Also, Tom Cruise was in Eyes Wide Shut, which is my favorite Kubrick movie, so I'll go Tom Cruise.
Okay. Mission Impossible or Star Wars?
Okay, so this is my weird... I've only ever seen, like, I think one Mission Impossible movie. I think it was, like, Mission Impossible 3, and, like, Star Wars is one of my favorite franchises all time, so yeah, Star Wars, easy.
Okay.
I need to watch Mission Impossible, though. That's, like, one of the biggest blind spots I have.
Yeah, for sure. That's very funny. The Last of Us or GTA?
GTA, hands down, dude. Okay, The Last of Us is, like, it's a great story and all that, don't get me wrong, but it's just, like, I just like the style of game that GTA, I like the freedom and, like, the open world, so, yeah, it's just more fun. It's more fun a game to play, so GTA.
Okay. Need for Speed or Forza?
I gotta go with Need for Speed just because I remember playing that as a kid. Like, I didn't have it, but I just remember playing that at, like, friends' houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Forza, I haven't really played it that much, so yeah, I'll go Need for Speed.
Okay. Halo or Call of Duty?
Oh, Halo, dude. Dude, Halo is so sick, man. Like, I never even owned an Xbox, but I remember I would always go to my friend's house and just play Halo 3 when I was a kid, and, like, dude, that Halo 3 was so good, man. Like,
yeah, it was.
Dude, Halo is so sick, too. Just, like, the lore and the setting and all that. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. Scarlett Johansson or Winona Ryder?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Winona Ryder just because of the movie Heathers, dude.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
She's great.
Heathers is such a dope movie, dude. It's so funny.
It is. Christian Bale or Gary Oldman?
I'm gonna go Christian Bale just because of American Psycho. Yeah, like I just love that movie.
Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio or Marlon Brando?
I'll go with Leo just because I've seen like way more of his stuff. Like for Marlon Brando, I haven't actually seen a lot of his movies. Like I do think Leo is like he's great. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't necessarily think he's as great as some people say. That might be my hot take, but he is really good in certain movies. So I'll give Leo credit. Plus, like Wolf of Wall Street, dude, he's so good in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Leo, I guess.
Okay. Cat Williams or Richard Pryor?
Okay, so this might be a blasphemous take. I need to watch Richard Pryor stand up because I know like so many people have said how good he is, but like I haven't seen his stuff, so I got to go with Cat Williams just because I have actually seen his stuff and I liked it. So
okay. The Rock or Mark Wahlberg?
I'm gonna go with The Rock. I don't know if I guess Mark Wahlberg's kind of a piece of shit. I love Boogie Nights, which is like Mark Wahlberg, but like I'm gonna go with The Rock just because I remember like when I was a kid, I liked WWE and like The Rock, like the People's Elbow, dude. I remember like when we were kids, like me and some of my friends would just like do like WWE shit on each other and like I'll give The Rock.
All right. Okay. Florence Pugh or Kate Winslet?
I'll go Florence Pugh, dude. I think she's she's just a really good actor.
Yeah, for sure. Anya Taylor-Joy or Emma Stone?
I'm gonna go Emma Stone just because I think she is like she's been in so many movies where she's kind of like the main. Yeah. She's just like a movie star. You know what I mean? Yeah. She just has that charisma. Yeah. Like she's really good.
Javier Bardem or Benicio del Toro?
That's a tough one. Maybe this is probably another hot take. I'm going Benicio del Toro just because of Sicario.
Yeah,
dude.
He's so good.
Sicario.
He's so good. Yeah, I saw it. It's a great movie.
That movie's sick, dude. I love that movie.
Denis Villeneuve or Steven Soderbergh?
I'm definitely going Denis Villeneuve on that one, dude. I'm a Denis fan, bro. Like he has so many movies I love. Like one of my favorite directors.
Okay. Nicole Kidman or Cate Blanchett?
I'm gonna go with Cate Blanchett, dude. Okay. Like she's just like she's a good actor. Like I forget what movie. Have you seen The Aviator?
Yes.
It's not that good of a movie, really. I don't think, but she's good in that movie, though. You know what I mean? And she's also like in Lord of the Rings and just a bunch of other. She's just a really good actor. Yeah. Kate Beckinsale or Halle Berry? What is Kate Beckinsale in again?
She was in Underworld. She was in The Aviator. Funny enough, she was in.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in that. But didn't have a big role or anything. She was in that movie with Ben Affleck and Michael Bay. It was about Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah. Not great. Honestly, like I don't know. I have no recollection of either of any of their movies. I'll just go like which one I think is hotter. I'll go Halle Berry.
Okay. All right. Okay. Zendaya or Keke Palmer?
Who's Keke Palmer again?
She was in Nope. She was in that movie with SZA, and the comedy movies did really, really well. She's in a bunch of stuff, but like she's more known for.
She was the main girl in Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just go with Zendaya just because like I really like Challengers and Dune 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Keke Palmer might very well be a better actor. I would have to rewatch Nope, but like I gotta go with Zendaya just for Challengers and Dune.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. The Safdie brothers or Joseph Kosinski?
I'm gonna go with the Safdie brothers, dude. I love Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Okay. Interesting.
And Good Time is also another banger too, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Bryce Tiller or Rob Thicke?
I'm not familiar. Like, Bryson Tiller, who is that again? I know Robin Thicke, who that is. I don't listen to his music, but
you have to check out Robin Thicke's earlier stuff. I know he's not a great person, but like his early shit, bro.
All right, I'll look into it.
It's pure R&B and soul, man. It's like that old school, like Pharrell's on that. It's like crazy.
Okay, all right, I'll check it out.
Young Thug or Future?
Man, that's a hard one, man. Actually, a really hard one. I think I'll go with Future just because I love DS2 and Monster.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I do think Young Thug is, like, more interesting as a vocalist, but, like, Future is just in so many great albums with Metro Boomin and all that, so I'll go Future.
Okay. J.I.D. or J. Cole?
I'm going to go J.I.D.
Okay.
Because The Forever Story, I think it's a really good album.
Okay. Akon or Don Toliver?
Oh, man. I haven't listened to Akon in so long.
Yeah.
I need to listen to some Akon again, man. It's been a minute. I'll just go Don Toliver, though, because it's like I don't even remember the last time I listened to Akon. I don't really... Okay. I'll go Don Toliver.
Okay. Autechre or Boards of Canada?
What was the first one?
Autechre. They're from the UK. They're like a duo.
I don't even know who that is. I like Boards of Canada, though. Like, they have some trippy stuff, so I'll go with them.
Okay. Amelia Clark or Linda Hamilton?
What was Linda Hamilton in again?
She was a Terminator.
Oh, okay. She's Sarah Connor?
Sarah Connor, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with her.
Okay.
She's the Terminator.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone or Arnie?
Arnie, dude. I'm a huge Arnie fan. Have you seen Total Recall?
I saw that sick movie.
Dude, he's got some of the best one-liners. Consider that a divorce. It's like one of my favorite Arnie one-liners, dude. Yeah, Arnie is the GOAT when it comes to just like those action stars, dude. I love Arnie.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves or Bruce Willis?
I mean, I feel like Bruce Willis is probably a better actor, but I like Keanu Reeves' like movies more. Like, I love The Matrix and John Wick. So. Yeah. And Point Break, too, also. Okay. I'll go with Keanu Reeves, even though he's like... And I like Cyberpunk 2077 a lot, too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Fallout or Gods of War? Or God of War, whatever.
Man, that's a hard one, dude. I love both of those. I'm gonna, like, if I had to pick one, what I would play right now, it would be God of War.
Yeah.
But, like, I have the best memories with Fallout New Vegas. So I'll go Fallout just because, like, nostalgia, basically.
Okay. Gran Turismo or Uncharted?
I have barely played either of them. I have played a little bit of both. Okay. I'll go with Gran Turismo just because I like racing games a lot.
Okay. All right. Okay. Asterix and Obelix or Asphalt?
I have no idea what any of that means.
Oh, okay. Wii or PSP?
I'm not into either, to be honest. I'll go Wii though, because like I never played a PSP. I did have a Game Boy, but I don't know. I'll just go Wii, just because they had Wii Sports and stuff.
Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa?
Snoop Dogg.
Okay. Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas, dude. Illmatic, and It Was Written.
Yeah.
Noted.
Great. Yeah. Nicki Minaj or Missy Elliott?
Okay, I'm sure like this is probably a blasphemous take, but like I like Nicki Minaj's music like more than Missy Elliott's music.
Yeah,
like Nicki Minaj has got some fire songs, dude. I know Missy Elliott is probably like most people would pick her, but I'll go with Nicki Minaj just because like if I'm being honest, would listen to her music more often.
Okay. Rhapsody or No Name?
I know who No Name is, but I haven't listened to enough, so I don't know. Rhapsody, I guess.
Chance the Rapper or Big Sean?
I'll go with Chance the Rapper just because acid rap I really liked.
Okay. Justin Bieber or Chris Brown?
I really don't listen to like either of them at all, so I'm like not familiar with like much of their stuff. I'll go with Justin Bieber though. He's Canadian.
Okay. The Weeknd or Frank Ocean?
I would say Frank Ocean. I mean, like I know The Weeknd puts out way more stuff, but Frank Ocean's albums I just think are a little bit better.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Sears or Hudson Bay?
I gotta go with Hudson Bay, dude. It's one of the OG companies of like Canada, man. Yeah. Of North America, really.
Yeah. Piers, what
Didn't
import?
They like get shut down? Didn't they go to business?
Huh?
Didn't they go out of business recently or something?
Yeah, I went out of business. Yeah, sad, but Zellers or Piers One Import?
Zellers.
Okay. All right. Freshco or Frotino's?
I don't know. I don't really go to either.
Okay. Okay. Second last one. Hamburgers or pizza?
I gotta go with pizza, dude. I'm an Italian food guy.
Okay. All right. Last one. Smoothies or milkshake?
I mean, I gotta go with smoothies because I have protein shakes pretty much like every day.
Okay. All right. Bonus one. Ferrari or Lamborghini?
I mean, I'll never be able to afford either, but if I had to pick, I don't know. I'll just go with a Lambo, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really much of a car guy. I'm just more of like a whatever gets me from point A to point B.
Double bonus. Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Ooh. That's a tough one, man. I actually really like both, dude. And I love Good Will Hunting, dude. I love that. That movie's really good. I'm gonna go with Matt Damon. Like, I just think he's like slightly better, but they're both good.
Okay. Yeah, that's the end of the interview. I really appreciate you coming on.
Dude, it was my pleasure, man. It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. I'm rooting for your channel. All that stuff.
Thanks, man.
I didn't think I'll get this interview at all. I just have this thing where like I'm just kind of predisposed to rejection, so I'm like, people not responding.
No, dude, I'm sure it's like you probably have to reach out to a lot of people if like you're starting a podcast. But nah, dude, you're like it's been like what? This was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
you like went by really fast, dude, and you always had like good questions to ask and stuff. So no, good job, man.
Thank you, bro. Bye. Good night.
All right, man. Peace out, dude. Appreciate it.
Good night. That is another episode of the Renegade Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Same way I enjoyed this one, putting this one together. Bye.